Hi everyone. I've been seeing you guys chatting with each other in the chat about Justice League kills the Suicide Squad, and I also saw how one of you, I can't remember who it was, but one of you said you don't believe in the word woke. That's perfectly fine. I'm not saying that you should. You can call it woke, you can call it activism, you can call it whatever you want, but I do have an opinion on that, and that's what I'm going to talk about here when I say why it is woke. I'm going to give you what my definition and what I mean when I say the word woke. So don't worry, we'll talk about that. And if in the end, when Captain Eric says, he gives his reason, you still don't agree with it, that is perfectly fine. You can call it whatever you want, but I do think there's more in it than just bad writing. I feel like this is like intentional bad writing that the studio wants you to like, but the audience is just not having it. So that's what I think the situation is, but we'll talk more about that later. Darksaber, Brandon the Beldam, hi to you too. A lot of you are greeting me. It's so nice to always chat with you every single week. But yeah, the Suicide Squad video is doing incredibly well, which is good. The Time Shadow, howdy to you too. Yeah, Batman's gamer Eric does call himself Captain Eric, but that's more because you guys have turned it into a thing. I just said it once as a joke, and then it kind of just stuck. So, yeah. Alec Barton, I thought that Joker voice was horrendous. One of the worst. Right up there with Young Justice. I would say it was the first movie or third movie, Magnesium. Definitely one of the two. Depends what mood I'm in. Rohan, he's not going to return in a Red Sun project. I think it was Matthew Vaughn, the director, who said he would like to see him in Henry Cavill in a Red Sun project. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It would be silly for it to happen right now. They're filming the new Superman. That would just confuse people. Yeah, a lot of you are talking about how you didn't like Batman's death. I'm scrolling up on the list of comments. Yeah, I didn't like it either. It was very bad. When I say his last... this is not Conroy's last performance, says Issa. When I say it's his last performance, I meant this is... I should have clarified it, but I said... I meant this is his last performance in the Arkhamverse, because he's not going to be voicing Arkham Batman ever again now. It's done. And this is how he ends it on that note. Pathetic writers. My day was good, Jess. The Suicide Squad video I did, I stayed up for 3 hours trying to make that thumbnail. So the fact that it's doing well shows that the work I put in was worth the effort. Because I always want my channel to be expanded and reach more people. And I don't cover games very often, but this gaming video did very well. And so I hope my Spider-Man 1 vs. Spider-Man 2 video does well in terms of gaming as well. Yeah, more of you are saying Batman's death was insulting. It really was insulting. It was horrific. Quick question. How many of you watching this live stream are new to this channel? Because I did get over 100 new subscribers specifically for that Justice League video that I just did. And I've got what looks like, bear with me a second, looks like I've got a Streamlabs chat. You guys... It's like I don't even have to explain this stuff anymore. You guys are already like gotten the hang of it. So let's see. I've got... Whoa, let's see. I've got 2 super chats, Streamlabs chats. Both are $1. The first one is from Yako the Volcanic Muto. Of course, you're going to be one of the first ones to get a Streamlabs chat in there. Why am I not surprised? Hey Eric, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Tomorrow will be my birthday. Well, happy birthday. I recently created a new YouTube channel, and I recently saw The Beekeeper after my best friend recommended it to me. We'll be here on the stream with you, Sir Eric. That's good. I'm glad you're here on the stream, and I'm glad you saw The Beekeeper. What'd you think of it? Was it a good movie? I've heard good things, but I've heard it's just a decent movie, not a good or great movie. That's what I've heard. And thanks for the super chat, Yako. I always say these Streamlab chats really do help, and so do the super chats, but especially the Streamlab chats. And Patrick Style also did a $1 super chat. Says, hey Eric, I know I made a joke about El Naruto being cancelled last time, but it turns out Sony is still trying to make the movie. How stupid is Sony? Do they seriously think a movie about a Spider-Man villain that appeared twice is going to make money? Well, Sony are basically as stupid as you'd think, and then I would tell you to just imagine they're even stupider, and that's how stupid they are. In fact, they just keep finding ways to be even dumber. A lot of people are surprised at how stupid they are. Alec Barton, yeah, IGN didn't even get a code, and that says a lot. Oh, look at all of you guys giving a happy birthday wish to Yako. That is very nice of all of you. Thanks again, Yako and Patrick Style, for the super chats. That really does help. Jess, great to see you here. Hey Eric, did you watch the Megamind sequel trailer yesterday? It's getting a lot of dislikes. Is it getting a lot of dislikes? Oh, that's interesting. I've not been aware of that trailer. Let me write that down. I should definitely... What was it? Megamind sequel. Let's write that down here. I'll definitely do a trailer reaction on my Patreon. There we go. Made a note of that. I'll cover that for my Patreon. Let's see. Oh, damn it. It sometimes just jumps right to the bottom of the list on the super chat as I'm trying to keep up. Renat says, I'm never going to make a YouTube channel. That's fair enough. Green Dragon says, hi. Hi to you too. The English Scotsman, love your new video, Eric. It's shocking that Gotham Knights, a similarly divided game, gives the Caped Crusader a more dignified and respectable send-off than the new Rocksteady regime. Insane. It is, and people weren't really happy with that death either, but I think that's because just the story in general in that game was just kind of naff. It felt like CW writing at times, so I think that's what got people annoyed with that. But think about all the times Batman has died now. He's died in the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, he's died in Gotham Knights, he's died in real life, Kevin Conroy. I feel like we're getting a lot of Batman deaths lately. It's not cool. Rohan says, Warner Brothers disrespected Kevin Conroy. Oh, we also got Michael Keaton's Batman death in The Flash recently, too. This was it last year, so... Yeah, a lot of Batman's death. And then we got Ben Affleck's death because the timeline reset or whatever, so Ben Affleck wasn't a Batman no more. So many Batman deaths lately. Fraser says, hi Eric, sorry I'm late. What are your scores out of 10 of each of the Arkham games, including Origins and Knight? I can't really remember. I need to play them again, but I think Arkham Asylum, I think I gave that, was it a very high 8 or a low 9? I think it was a 9 I gave it. Yeah, it was a 9. It was a 9 out of 10. Arkham City, I gave that a very high 9. So close to a 10, but a high 9. Arkham Knight, I gave that an 8. And playing it again, I've just been playing it again recently on my OLED Steam Deck. I'd say it's a high 8. But yeah, they definitely had some issues, I think, in that game, personally. And Arkham Origins, that's a very high 7. A very high 7 or a very low 8. You could definitely tell that it didn't have the finesse in its gameplay like it did in... what was the gameplay it had in Arkham Origins? Sorry, Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham Knight. It didn't have the finesse that it needed, I think, personally. And is that... Could that be Jake? That is Jake. Jake, who's done a $70 super chat. Jake, you really are so generous with your super chats, and it's so great to see you back on a stream. I haven't seen you on the streams as often, but I hope you've been keeping well. One last bit of advice that you might have forgotten: if you do these big donations, do it with my Streamlabs link, because YouTube will take a percentage, and if you donate more, they'll take a bigger percentage out of the higher donation. So it's always 30% they take from a donation, but if it's 30% of a $1 donation or $2, it's not so much taken out of it. But if it's a bigger donation, they take more out of it. So if you do Streamlabs, I linked it in the top of the chat, 100% of that donation will go to me, and none of it will go to YouTube. So that's what I would recommend. But still, thank you so much for the $70 super chat. And let's see, what does Jake have to say? You know what I don't like? All these pointless sequels nowadays, especially to movies that are over 30 years old. Also, I wish Megamind had a well-animated sequel a while back. I do agree, because I remember the sequel to me that I had that feeling with, where I was like, why did it take so long? Why didn't we get it sooner? Was The Incredibles 2. The movie itself was decent, but I was genuinely annoyed that it took so long. Like, I would have liked it if Incredibles 2 was released closer to the first movie, so my memories of it would have been from when I was a kid. But instead, my memories are of when I'm, like, an adult. And when you're an adult, you just kind of catch on to some of these tropes. And I didn't think it was as smartly written, but I know what you're talking about. They are really trying to go back to the well, and it's just not so good. Busy guy, says Jake. I can imagine you are. A lot of people seem to be happy that you're back. See, I always talk, whether it's you, Adam Grunther, I always talk about you guys in the most positive light, even when you're not here. It's like you've got quite a lot of you have got reputations in this chat nowadays whenever we talk. So yeah, thank you very much, Jake, for that super chat. And yes, I do agree. Megamind is a movie that I remember it snuck up on me when I saw it all those years ago. It looked pretty meh, in my opinion, like uninteresting. But then when you get into the story and the twist it takes in like the first act of the movie, I was like, holy crap. I did not expect that to happen, neither did my family. And then when another twist happens later on, it is such a hilarious twist. And the way it was animated was perfect. And it was so funny. I love Megamind. I really need to see that movie again. That was a surprising movie as to how good it was. And I don't even really know what you could do with a sequel after that. But let's hope it's smartly written, because I feel like a lot of movies they're not being as smartly written as they used to be. That is kind of a problem in my mind. Anyway, Jess says the Megamind sequel looks cheap when people saw the trailers. Oh really? Is that why it got a lot of thumbs downs? The Time Shadow, yes, I do remember you from last week. Let's see. Oh, look at that. There's some more people donating to me on... Is it more people donating on Streamlabs, or is that the old donation and my email got it later? Let's see. Oh no, I've already caught up, so that's good. I've not missed out on any. Jake, thank you very much again. Anytime you donate, your name stays at the top of the chat right here. It says with your donation amount. So thank you very much. Look at that, Drake Holly saying that they missed you. I miss all of you whenever you're not on the stream, so I'm always glad to see you come back. So, alright. I feel like I've had such a fun time chatting with you guys. This is probably the longest intro I've had to a live stream. I'm excited for Superman Legacy 2, buddy. Let's see. Okay, Nanimator says, honestly, the fact that Batman was killed in a dirty way in Suicide Squad just ruins it for me. I've enjoyed Arkham Asylum, Arkham City when I was a little kid. I enjoy them when I'm an adult. Arkham City is my second favourite game of all time, and to this day, I still play the Arkham games. Why do you think I wanted a Steam Deck in the first place? When they announced the Steam Deck, I was like, what? So that means that I can finally play the Arkham games on a handheld. That is what got me excited, and that was reason enough for me to want to buy the Steam Deck, just for the Arkham games. And then, let alone the other games you could emulate and play with it. And the OLED is even better, in my opinion. Playing Arkham games on an OLED screen at 90 frames per second? So fun. Anyway, now, as always, I'm going to get to the stories now. Now, as always, if you join my Patreon, I will display your name underneath here where it says new Patreon members. And that happens if you join my Patreon during a live stream. I'll keep your names here for the whole stream, and it will be documented throughout YouTube. It'll be documented throughout YouTube. So when this video stays on my YouTube channel, you'll always see your name at this point. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is, like I said, I'll be scanning and glancing at the chat, but I won't be answering questions constantly when I'm telling the stories. So this way, I will stay focused on the story that I'm telling. The only time I will answer one of your questions is if you give me a super chat or a Streamlabs chat. And Streamlabs chats are always more appreciated. Well, they're always appreciated, but I mean, it's always the best way, because that way none of your donation goes to YouTube. It 100% goes to me, so there you go. Those are your disclaimers, and while I said that, someone has done a donation to Streamlabs, it appears. So let's quickly answer that question, then we'll get to the stories that we're going to talk about. Yako the Volcanic Muto, another $1 super chat from Yako says, Eric, The Beekeeper was awesome. If you liked movies like Con Air, oh, I love Con Air, especially the extended cut, which did not come to Blu-ray, annoyingly. Godzilla vs. Kong, I like the action in Godzilla vs. Kong, not so much the characters. Or Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead I really did like. This movie has a similar high-octane action scenes. I had a blast watching it, and the theater gave me a kaiju-sized popcorn bag. Haha, I loved it. That's great. You've actually got me convinced now to see the movie. Otherwise, I was just going to think, yeah, it's a generic streaming movie. There's no reason to watch that. And as I say this, another one. I got another Streamlab Super Chat from the Gamer Bro 132, a $1 Super Chat. Thank you very much. You guys are so nice to me. You really are when it comes to these Super Chats. Hello, Eric. Been around since the It 2017 Versus video. Oh, that's a very long time. Thank you very much for continuing to stick around with my channel. That's 6 years it's been. Oh no, sorry, what, in 2024 now? 7 years. Thanks very much. That is so great to hear. It's great to see Jim Carrey back as Robotnik. Now the question is, will he be wearing a fat suit to complete his Eggman transformation? Hold on to that thought. I do hope that happens, but we'll talk about that, as that is going to be one of the stories. And it seems that I got another donation. This is from David Sheriff. I hope I said that right. Let's see. That's a $5 super chat. David Sheriffle is what it says. I'll just say David in case I butcher the rest. I'm sorry. Hey Eric. I don't know why Warner Brothers, Sony, Disney are doing all of these stupid things right now. It's like they've all got an agenda. The Black Superman movie is still in the works. For God's sake. James Gunn hasn't cancelled it. The film industry is dying. Well, I would say the film industry is dying more due to what streaming is doing, and also because, yeah, the writing in movies is just on a decline, it feels like. It's like, is the writing in... I think it's a combination of the writing in movies declining and the writing in streaming shows getting better. That's what I think is the situation right now, and these Hollywood types, it's like, yeah, they can blame streaming, they can blame whatever they want, but I feel like, ultimately, if you do good storytelling, great movies, look at Oppenheimer and Barbie. They both accommodated two very different audiences, and they went to go see it. So it is possible to get people back into the theaters, but they're just not putting in that work or effort. So, yeah. And in terms of the Black Superman movie still in the works, I can see why James Gunn didn't cancel it, because given how they really like to push, oh, a Black Superman, I think it would probably look bad on them, they think, if they cancel it. Although if James Gunn cancelled it, I think it would have made more sense. He could have said, we got plenty of diverse characters coming up, but right now the Black Superman will not make sense with the plans that I've done. You know, that's going to be... that could potentially happen down the line. So it's not like he couldn't have cancelled it. But I don't think that's going to be moving forward yet. And the best thing to say, I think, is that I don't think any of James Gunn's slate is really going to move forward until we see how that Superman movie does. So he can announce all these characters and Supergirl and all these other movies, but until we actually see the quality of that Superman legacy and how well it's received, I think that will be the deciding factor as to whether they will allow him to make as much movies as he wants in his DC universe. So thank you very much, David, for that $5 super chat, and I hope I answered your question in depth. Thank you very much. And I was about to go back to the story, but it looks like I got another super Streamlabs chat from you. David Sherfield. Is this the same David? Yes, Batman's Gamer. Yeah, that's Batman's Gamer that did. That's another $5 super chat. And he says, hey Eric, I just tried doing this thing again. I don't think it worked, so I'm doing it again. Okay, that's okay. It did work, and I read your message. But you changed your name now, which makes things easier for me. And also, interestingly, you've got you gave me another $5 super chat, so thank you very much for your support. I really do appreciate this. You guys are too kind to me. I feel like genuinely I'm one of the luckiest content creators out there. And now we've got another super chat, Streamlabs chat, sorry, from I hope I'm not missing any super chats. Let me quickly take a look. Ooh, let's see, how many did super chats come in? Yes, they have. I'm sorry, I was looking at my Streamlabs chat, which is a separate window. If I had probably 2 monitors or something, I think I'd be able to monitor the situation, no pun intended, more closely. Sorry, everyone. Sorry about that. I'll answer your questions there in a second. Let me just quickly answer. King of the Monsters 2021 has given me a $1 super chat. Let's see. Do you think the death of Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash is an example of a good death for Batman? I think it was a decent death. Decent to good. I didn't mention it in my video because I was talking about the terrible deaths that were happening in Hollywood and the industry in general, and I was talking about the best deaths. I wasn't really talking about the middle. That would have kind of just padded out my topic of discussion. It would have disrupted the flow of the video, so that's why I did not do the middle ground, which was Michael Keaton's death in that. So I do think his was a good to decent to good death, but I wouldn't put it up there with the greats, and I wouldn't put it up there with the worst. It's like literally the middle of the road. Okay, so let's see. It looks like I've got another Streamlabs donation, $3. Literally, you guys, I feel like you're almost breaking records for me in terms of how much donations I'm getting in such a short period. Brandon the Beldum says, "Hey Eric, always love the content. What is your favorite 80s slasher between TCM, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween?" Who's TCM? TCM, if you guys can tell me that. I'll answer that in a second once I find out who TCM is, but let me quickly answer some of these super chats on YouTube. Kidding Cell, $2 super chat. Don't worry, buddy, I will answer that. I just need to find out who TCM is. I'm sure I'll read it in the comments, then I'll answer your question. Will you do a versus video with Sonic 2? When Sonic 3 comes out, yes, I want to try to do that. The next super chat is... Let's see... I've got to scroll through. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Oh, darn it, where is it? Big Bash, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Nolan414 has also done a $2 super chat. Says, "Hey Eric, been subbed since the It 2017 versus video." Oh, that's great. I'm glad. I got a lot of you from that video. I shouldn't be surprised. Over 1 million views on that video. Still one of my most viewed videos to this day. Okay, I've caught up with all the chats on YouTube's end. Batman's Gamer, your donations have worked. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, thank you. There you go. That's what it was. So, hey, let's read that question on Streamlabs again. Batman's Gamer, you're David Sherfield, it says here. So I have got on your Streamlabs chats. They are going through. Unless you've done more, let me know if you have. Hey Eric, Brandon, this is from Brandon. Says, "Hey Eric, always love the content. What is your favorite 80s slasher between the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween?" The original Wes Craven Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's aged the best. The scares still work for the most part. And yeah, I still think the gore they did so incredibly well. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not a gory movie. It was trying to go for a PG rating, but it just never did. And Halloween, I feel like, is kind of aged. The slow build-up is just not as frightening, I think, personally. So, yeah, now, let's see. Batman's Gamer says, "I wasn't sure if it worked." It did work, trust me. It's just that I think I did 3 by accident on Streamlabs. By accident. Batman's Gamer, let me see. You've got 1, 2... I see 1, 2... I just see 2 of them. I don't know if you've done 3 of them. 2 $5 super chats. I don't know if you did another one. But if you have, let me know. And let's see. Is that... Jake, have you done another one? Dude, seriously, your generosity seriously does know no bounds. It really does. I'm supposed to answer your question right now, but I'm still staring at that. 2 of these. I don't know what to say. But, yeah. I want to know, though, Jake, does Streamlabs work for you? Because big donations like this, like I said, YouTube will take a bigger cut from you. They'll take, like I said, they always take 30%. So if you do it through the Streamlabs chat, it will all 100% go to me, and they won't take any of it away. Because they seem to have a cap or a limit in terms of how much they give me for some reason. So that's why I would always suggest, if you do these big sums, make sure it's on Streamlabs, because they won't overtake from you. Literally, all of it will come to me that way. Anyway, let's continue reading what you've got to say. "It bothers me that DreamWorks put more budget into effing Boss Baby 2 than Megamind 2. Did they really? I think I got to see this Megamind trailer. Like, seriously. Let's see. Oh, you've just answered the question about Streamlabs. By the way, I can't use Streamlabs. Sorry. Also, who are your favorite characters from Kingsman, Regular Show, the Sonic series, and Shrek? By the way, I find Chris Pratt or... let's see. You can't use Streamlabs. Oh, that's bizarre. Does it just not work when you're trying to use it? Is that what the problem is? Let's see. Okay, so who are your favorite characters from Kingsman? My favorite character from Kingsman was, the bald guy. What was his name? He was in Shazam. He did role in Shazam he did. I got his name, but then I lost it. How could I have lost it? I'm sure you guys have put it in the comments, but I'm already searching it up just to make sure. Mark Strong. There you go, Mark Strong. Mark Strong is my favorite character in Kingsman, so I would say definitely Mark Strong. I just liked his character a lot. Samuel Jackson was a bit irritating. The lisp that he did, I've heard people talk with lisps, but I think it's because we know what Samuel Jackson is like. We've heard him talk very loud, we've heard him be very quiet. When it took him so long to say something, when Samuel Jackson is like just rapid fire, man, he just says his thing so fast. It was kind of weird. It was like watching a video buffer when you heard him lisp. It was so weird. Anyway, also, who are your favorite characters from Kingsman? Regular show. Regular show, my favorite character is, there's so many of them, and none of them are really as good without each other, but I would say Muscle Man. He was really funny all the time. The whole thing with my mom. And then when they said to him, Muscle Man, that's not how it is. The joke is your mom. And then he's like, are you insulting my mom? That was hilarious. And the scream that he does, the cowardice scream that he does is so funny. The Sonic series. I haven't seen the Sonic show, but if you're talking about the Sonic movies, I'm assuming, because I've not seen the show. The Sonic movies, I would say the best character was Jim Carrey, of course. And Shrek. My favorite characters in Shrek. Ooh, there's a lot of characters in Shrek. Ooh. Donkey. I'd say Donkey and Shrek. But there's also a lot of other fairy tale characters that are funny as well, like Pinocchio. I always found very funny. His whole thing about being a real boy. So, yeah, that's what I would say. $70 super chat. Master Combatant, you've given me a $2 donation, but you've retracted your message. Yeah, send it to me and I'll answer it. Oh, Orangutan, great to see you in the chat. I think we're still waiting on Adam Grunther. Batman's Gamer, it's great to see a lot of you here. Big Bash. But yeah, Jake, again, thank you very much for your very generous donations. Like I say, these donations, you guys have no idea how much they help. They really do help. Let me write down this $2 donation. And let's see. Yeah, everyone's like, Jake is at it again. He really is. And I've even got a $5 super chat from SuperMichael98, who says, hope you're doing well. I've finally begun my journey playing Halo. That is great, because I've always wanted to play the Halo games, but I remember trying the first one when I was younger. I didn't quite get into it, because it felt a bit dated for me, like the time had passed. And plus, I've really been into the Unreal Tournament games, or at least the 1999 one. But thanks, Super Michael, for the $5 super chat. Again, these super chats are so helpful. Master Combatant, write your message and I will answer it. Oh, there it is. You're giving me a $5 super chat. Now, guys, we haven't even started the stories yet. What are you doing? You're giving more super chats. I think this is breaking a record here. Still not able to get to the stories yet because I'm still answering super chat questions. Master Combatant says, shouldn't Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League be retconned? Yes, it should. They retconned that Deadshot, the Deadshot that we got in Arkham City. They said in this game that, oh, that was an imposter, that wasn't the real one. And the reason they did that is just so they can say he's black, justify why he's black in this new game. When really, the reason they made him black in this game is because they wanted him to match Will Smith. But it's like, but then why don't you do that in an Elseworld game? Why are you doing that in the Arkham series where he's already been established? Someone who has the same shooting abilities as Deadshot. You're saying that, oh yeah, that's an imposter. But an imposter is supposed to be crap, but he was bloody amazing in terms of his marksmanship. Seriously. Jake, I agree. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League did pull a Joel on Batman in terms of just how disrespectfully he was offed. So yeah, that was not cool. That really was not cool what they've done. But yeah. Now, good, I spent my money and got Tekken 8 instead, said Zilla Universe. That is very true. Like, do you know what? If this was a big DC game, this would have been one of those games that I would have bought a PlayStation 5 for. Like I said, I had my other PlayStation 5 on loan for Spider-Man 2, but this is a game I would have bought the PlayStation 5 for. In fact, I bought a PlayStation 4 just so I could play Arkham Knight back in the day. I said to myself, that was my first home console, and I said, if I buy this console just for Arkham Knight and the Season Pass, I'd be happy. I got more games afterwards, but that just goes to show you how much of a huge DC fan I am, especially of Batman and those Arkham games. And to see it treated this way, whether you think it's for wokeness or whether you think it was just bad writing, was really heartbreaking to me. Now, a couple of other super chats have happened. Streamlab chats have happened, and I've finally can circle around to them because I've been dealing with answering all these other super chats. It's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining. This is like probably the fastest paced I've been getting these super chats at. And this is a $7 super chat from Batman's Gamer. $7 Streamlabs chat. I don't know why Warner Brothers and Sony are doing this stupid crap. It's like we are liking the content they hate. And I don't know why they hate the Justice League, Avengers, Star Wars, the Disney animated movies, Spider-Man movies. Now they just go political for some reason. Yeah, there seems to be this weird ego thing I've realized in Hollywood where they seem to be under the impression and think that they are good people when really they're not. We see how they're censoring people who are trying to talk in support of, say, Palestine, for example. They've even silenced other people from talking about other topics where they're like, yeah, you can't talk about that. Yeah, you can't agree with that. There's a lot of people that did not like The Last Jedi, for example, but it turns out there was a lot of people that were being told you cannot talk about that, otherwise you'll be called out as a sexist. This is an older thing that we've now found out. The Last of Us Part 2, I remember when they were saying that there were, employees that were not treated well. Turns out those employees said that that cancel culture was a thing in the offices for people that had complaints about the story and they wanted to talk about it in their spare time. They were being accused and they weren't being treated well and they were being, just called out as sexist and all that kind of stuff. It really is not nice. And yet Hollywood tried to say, and the industry tries to say, no, we are nice. We support these things. It's like, yeah, but look at all the things that have been started because of your horrible actions. The Me Too movement, for example. That all started because of them, and there were innocents that were also being accused of Me Too crimes, reason being because there were some petty people that were trying to take advantage of a system, like a lot of people do with systems. So yeah, Hollywood are not what they try to say they are. They are trying to make it seem like they're very good people when they are not. And that illusion really is dismantling in Hollywood. So, like I said, you guys have just been so nice to me with all these super chats. I'm scrolling through a list of the ones I just answered right now. And we got another one on super chat on YouTube from Spade2187. Hey Eric, I thought Batman died in Arkham Knight. He blew up and in Gotham Knight he died. Yes, in Arkham Knight he made it seem like he died to the public. So basically he was dismantling his Bruce Wayne persona because it had been exposed. So then he was trying to elevate himself to another level of something higher than Batman was, which is why he did that with the whole Scarecrow fear toxin. But then they brought him back in this game and said that the Justice League found him and they accepted him into the League, which is weird because Batman should not be accepted into the League if his identity has been revealed. It's like you can't be public figure Batman no more if that's the case. He's got to be on that level that Arkham Knight left him at. So it's a complete contradiction what they did with the story here. So yeah, and in Gotham Knights, yeah, he did die, but that was wisely an Elseworld story. But I didn't play that game either because the gameplay just looked so slow and just unpolished, and it looked like it was going to be a live service game that they at the last second just removed all the live service features from because they saw how badly the Avengers performed as a live service game. So yeah, they should just stop these live service games. But I read an article recently where they said something like 95% of the video game studios out there are trying to invest in like big live service games. So I don't think it's going to stop, which is weird because if you look at all this, it's all failing. It's failing miserably. The whole live service thing that they're trying to do. Complete and utter crap is what this live service has turned into. Huh, wow, I'm having about 103 of you watching right now. That's a record, I think, for the live stream. So, how many of you are new to the channel after having come and seen one of my recent videos or my Justice League, the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League video? How many of you are new to this channel and are just joining the live stream new? Yeah, it's Apex Legends and Fortnite. I mentioned that in my video. It was very much that. Brandon the Beldum says, does Arkham City feel the shortest game with a story? It depends how much fun you're having, really, but I think they're all very similar in length if you just keep into account the main campaign and not the side missions. Jake says, I feel like Hollywood uses types of people as a criticism shield. Someone did call me sexist for saying 2016 Ghostbusters looked bad when it wasn't out yet, and honestly, I was right. You were right, and so were many others. If a lot of you remember, the angry video game nerd, James Rolfe, he made one of the most diplomatic and non-sexist videos ever, and people were calling him out and just calling him a sexist and a woman hater, and they were insulting his wife as well. Which is just, it's like you're trying to defend women by insulting his wife. What the hell is wrong with you? It's like these people, they seem to think they're on the right side, like on the we are standing up for diversity and all that, but really they are just their own extreme. There's people in the middle, but then there's their own extreme, which is what they are. Some people think I'm one of the extremes because I called, like, you know, even just this, the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League woke. But like I said, I don't call everything woke. People thought the Batman was woke when they hired a black actors to play Catwoman and Gordon. I didn't think so, because I trusted the person that made that call. Whereas a lot of people in Hollywood, you can't trust them when they make that call. So yeah. Yeah, let's see. No one can replace Kevin Costner. I totally agree. Pizza Man says, what's with the live service crap? Are they stupid? They are, because they want to make quick money. And they want to boost the price of games up as well to, like, crazy prices at, like, $100, the rumor is that the price has gone up from $60 to $70, and now that Sony behind the scenes in the leak for Insomniac, turns out they were talking about upping their prices to $80, $90, $100. They keep saying inflation is a thing, but thing is, I feel like game prices have just been overinflated anyway, when they shouldn't have been. So it's like, no, games are just becoming scams now. They're becoming expenses. They're not becoming fun stuff that you spend your money on. Because do you remember when kids could save up money to buy a $30 game? Now they have to save up money to buy games that are like $100 plus. And you do know, once they make those games $100, when they eventually normalize that, those prices are still going to go up, and the deluxe editions will go up even further than they already are. So it's just insane. Games are becoming too expensive now. They're not really becoming worth it anymore. And when that does happen, a lot of people, myself included, will just go to our backlog of games and play those that we bought for like dirt cheap that we still have to play. So yeah. Look at that. I've got another super chat, a $10 super chat from Master Combatant. Are you new to this channel? Because I don't think I've seen your name before, or maybe I have and I've just forgotten. But seriously, how many of you are new to this channel? Oh, Anthony Jameson says, I'm new to the channel and I'm joining the live stream. That's great to see you here, to see another... I'm always glad to expand this environment, to make it a safe space for all of us to talk and express how we feel about this stuff. You're not going to get called out here for any of your opinions. Let's see. So, it's great, Jake... Anthony, to have you as a new member of the channel. And I just saw Jake's comment here. That's why I said Jake. Nanimator says, I am new here to live stream, Eric. The first video I saw from you was Frozen vs. Frozen 2, and I thought the sequel was better. I do understand why you thought the original was better. That's good, so long as you... like I said, I like it when, even if you disagree, you're being very respectful about it. That's what we always try to do on this channel, so I'm glad that you are a member that can join this space as well. I like that you think that. Now, Master Combatant, your super chat. Let's celebrate their third super chat on the live stream. This is your third super chat. Thank you very much. Let's see. Let me write that down first. Master Combatant says, I think DC could have made an amazing connected universe in video games, but instead they just killed the Justice League for a Fortnite ripoff. I think we'd all love connected video game universe. I totally agree. That's one thing that I said. I don't know if I said it at the end of the video that I just made, or the one that I had just finished writing. But one of the things that I said was that they just wasted perfect opportunities to expand the Arkhamverse and really like go make plenty of other Justice League games, or make a Superman game, or a Flash game, or a Wonder Woman game, and all that, and a Green Lantern game, and they just completely destroyed all that potential. And for what? Just to play four villains that... Put four villains in a Suicide Squad team? It's just boring. It's like, why did you go with that? It makes no sense. And thank you very much for the $10 super chat. You guys have just been so nice. You guys have just been so nice in terms of these super chats. Like, seriously, this is the longest 42 minutes into the stream, and I've not gotten to the stories yet because you guys have just been, like, spoiling me with super chats. And Streamlabs chats as well, so seriously, thank you guys very much for your kindness and your generosity. Really, I'm very, very grateful. Okay, let's see if there's any more Streamlabs chats. There isn't. Let's see if there's any more super chats on YouTube, which there isn't. Okay, I think it's about time we can now move on to the story. And like I said, when I say these stories, I won't be answering your questions in the chat, but I will be answering any super chats and especially Streamlabs chats as we're going through the story. And I will put a pause on the story that I'm covering to answer those for you. Okay, so I'm going to first talk about here now. What I'm going to talk about is why Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is woke, and why I use that word for this particular circumstance and other circumstances like this. You don't have to agree with why I use the word. You can use any other word you want, but this is why I personally think that I use the word woke for something like this. Master Combatant says... Ooh, another super chat. Let me write that down. Says, I've been a subscriber since your Spider-Man vs. The Amazing Spider-Man vs. Homecoming video. Oh, really? Have you changed your name recently, or have you just not been commenting? Or am I just having a crap memory? Because I've been guilty of having a crap memory a lot. So that's great. I'm so glad to see. It is kind of fun and humbling to see where you guys, like, when you came about, because I talk to you guys, but very rarely do I ask you what video did you see of mine that made you subscribe. So I'm glad I was able to keep your attention for all that time. That's a lot. A long time ago I made that video. So let's see. I've answered that super chat. A $2 super chat from Crazy Cat Lady. Well, I would say you're a nice cat lady in this circumstance. Thank you very much for the $2 super chat. And happy birthday. Everyone in the chat, give a happy birthday to Crazy Cat Lady. Or Nice Cat Lady. You guys, I'm kind of getting tired here, but at the same time, I can't get to the stories yet, but I'm very grateful. Like I said, it's a great problem to have. I've got another Streamlabs chat. King of the Monsters 2021 says, I just sent my donation as you started the story. Yeah, you sure have. Now I gotta go over and read that. As I was about to start the story. Let's write that down. $2 super chat. Streamlabs chat. King of the Monsters says, Eric, what is your favorite modern live-action Godzilla design? Here's a colleague with the names. Okay, I won't read the names right now because I've got my windows open just in time for that story I was about to cover. I'll look at that later. But I will tell you right now, my favorite design was the one that we got in Godzilla -1. I really did like that one. Looked like enough classic Godzilla, but at the same time, it had nice little differences and unique elements that really made it feel unique. Like especially the spikes out of his back that come out when he's charging his atomic breath. I thought that was a phenomenal little design choice that just made sense. It makes you look at it and think, how come that never happened before? So yeah, Big Bash has been subscribed since 2018. That is great. Anthony Jameson says, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. More like Suicide Squad Wokeness League because the game is woke. I would say it is, and it is when you find out as well who consulted the game as well. And look at all of you giving happy birthdays to Crazy Cat Lady or Nice Cat Lady. Oh, Master Combatant has given another super chat on YouTube and says, I don't comment on videos that often. Okay, that's fair enough. It says, let's celebrate their 5th super on a live stream. Yeah, this is your 5th super chat. You guys are so nice, and oh my god, we've got another one on Streamlabs. Let's see. It's David or Batman's Gamer who's given me another $1 super chat. Remember what I said to you guys when we were first starting out with Streamlabs? I says, don't worry, I'll be able to keep track of your super chats and your Streamlabs chats. This is probably like the most I've worked in that way. So thank you very much for the super chats on Streamlabs, because like I said, 100% of that donation comes to me and none of it goes over to YouTube, who already like overtake from my revenue at points. Like they did at one of the live streams when you guys were giving super chats. 2 of the live streams, they took more money. It was from Jake when he was giving a lot of crazy numbers, they took more of it than they were supposed to, more than the 30%, which is why when you get huge donations, I always say Streamlabs is the best place because they can't do it there, and they are more fair. Jake says, happy birthday to Crazy Cat Lady. Hopefully you're not like the one from The Simpsons, lol. Indeed. Well, I think her actions speak louder than words here. She's definitely more generous than that cat lady. W Battle says, we need to let Eric go through the story. I know Eric feels like he's multitasking. I feel like I'm going to be exhausted by the time I even get to the story. Let's see. So Batman's Gamer says, hey Eric, another thing. I'm surprised you didn't like Peter's and MJ's face changes. The first game, I thought he looked older than the character was supposed to be at 23. Peter looked like he was 30. In the next two, he looked younger and more accurate. That's the problem, though. With the redesign, I thought he looked too young. I thought he looked just the right age, because he looked like an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man with the original design that he had. But with the second design they did, he looked like Tom Holland. He looked too young for 23. I didn't buy him as this older, wiser Spider-Man. Especially when he was next to Miles Morales. I did with the first design, but not the second one. So that's why I took an issue with that. And it looks like we've got another Streamlabs chat, which is it's a $1. Damn it, I wrote that wrong. Let's cross that out. There you go. $1. A $1 super chat. It's Elite saying, I'm currently playing Suicide Squad game and it is decent so far to me, but I respect everyone's opinion on the game. You can enjoy the game, there's no problem with that, but the game pales in comparison to the quality, to the cinematic storytelling in a video game that the Arkham series had. They were on a whole other level, but this just goes down to free-to-play game territory, and that's not something you would expect from Rocksteady of all people, so that's why it's super disappointing. Okay, King of the Monster says no more donations to people. I don't know if today, for some reason, seems like one of those crazy days. And people are still giving birthday wishes to Crazy Cat Lady, or Nice Cat Lady. Jake says, I'll figure out how to give money through Streamlabs someday, I'm sure. Yeah, it should be simple. It should be just a PayPal method. Because I tried to make it as simple. I actually put work and effort into making sure it was as simple as possible. Because I don't like going to alternate sites to pay YouTubers and support people. But on Streamlabs, it's supposed to be the most simple and it's the most legit. Because they are a YouTube verified place. People use that Streamlabs for live streaming. A lot of people live stream using that. So you don't have to worry. It should be very simple. You just click on the link. It'll say how much. And there you go. You just put the number in. That's it. So I've tried to make it as simple as possible. Okay, Selena says, please get to the story. Yeah, I want to get to the story now, too. So, yes. Big Bash says, this is the nicest chat I've seen. Yeah, this is really the nicest. Dark Saber says, Eric, it's been nearly 50 minutes. It has been 50 minutes now. Okay, we're going to get straight to the live stream. Let me get up my notes. And let's just switch the screen right now so we can get to this. You know what? Give me a quick second. I need to drink some water. My voice. My throat. And I still haven't eaten yet. Which, like, you guys know that happens to me towards the end of the stream, but an hour in, I'm already feeling it. Oh. King of the Studios, it is a lovely community. Let me just catch my breath for a second, because we're going to have a lot to talk about with this Suicide Squad story. And you've already had a sneak peek as to what I think about the Suicide Squad in this whole Super Chat segment, which happened at the beginning of the video, not the end. Okay, let me get to my notes. And I'm going to try to speak less loudly for this. King of the Studios, damn straight, hydration. I seriously need it. I also seriously need some food now, too. My stomach, I felt a pit after I swallowed that water. Okay, let's see. So got plenty of you still watching. Some new people entered the live stream, which is great because we're finally about to get to the first story. Okay, let's see. Where are my notes? Here they are. Okay, now what we're going to be talking about is why I think the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is woke. I'm going to talk about that, and a lot of people don't like the word woke, which is something that I've discovered. But for me, I don't overuse the word. I don't like it when people overuse it, but I always use the word when I feel like it's necessary. When it feels like there's more going on behind a studio than just putting it down to just simply bad writing. I feel like there's more to it, more going on as to why they decided to do that. Yeah, Sega Star Show, maybe it should have, but we're getting into the story right now. Okay, now, some people think that I simply just use that word like everyone else. I see diversity, I see male characters being poorly written, and I immediately jump to woke. But that's not true. In fact, I hate when people throw the word around for everything. I mean, even in The Batman, when it was announced that Matt Reeves cast black actors to play James Gordon and Catwoman, loads of people screamed woke. But I didn't. I trusted that Matt Reeves cast black actors because of creative reasons. Because he saw something in their performance that would fit and respect the characters. And in the end, he did. And I was right. So when I didn't call it woke, I was like, perfect call. My faith was put into Matt Reeves, and I was right to place my faith into Matt Reeves. But when other people, directors or studios do it, like Disney, for example, we all know ahead of time that they are more than likely doing it so they can get a pat on the back. And well, funnily enough, that's exactly what Disney are being criticized for now by everyone. Especially with the whole Snow White debacle. And the dwarves thing, what happened with that? Everyone on the left, the right, every side of the spectrum, everyone was calling Disney out as just doing fake virtue signaling, essentially. They were just trying to get pats on the back to the point that they didn't even care about the property they were working on, or respecting the dwarves, or respecting the first movie that really put Disney on the map, which was the original Snow White movie, that Walt Disney had to put so much sacrifices towards to even make that movie successful, and to make that movie a reality, and even to make the studio successful with that first movie. And Disney just basically took a big crap on it. The reason why is because they were trying to virtue signal. They wanted praise for being very forward politically, and they did it at the expense of one of their most popular franchises and IPs, and one of their most recognizable and respected IPs. That's just kind of what they were doing. Now, but like I said, there are many other reasons where people just criticize everything as being woke. Now, as for me, when I use the word woke, it's when a decision has been made for political reasons and not creative ones. For example, Matt Reeves, as I said, is a director that I know approaches everything from a place of creativity. I will never say that he's being woke for any creative decision he makes, because I trust that he's a man of creativity. But studio execs like Kathleen Kennedy, or even Kevin Feige these days, don't come at it. They do not come at it from a place of creativity. They come at it from a place of pandering, of virtue signaling. So they come at it from a political point of view, basically. So they can get all the pats on the back they can get. That's why they do it. They want those pats on the back. They want constant pats on the backs. So Kevin Feige is trying to make the Silver Surfer a woman now, for example, in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie. We've talked about this on previous live streams. I've talked about it in a previous video. That's just something he's trying to do. Now, that's not coming at it from a place of creativity. There were loads of rumors that... there were even loads of rumors before the Silver Surfer gender swap. There were loads of rumors that he was looking to gender bend the Thing into a Jewish actress, with names like Mila Kunis being discussed. And some people are saying that can't be true, others were saying it is. It turned out, after many other sources came out, that turned out to be very true, as several other scoopers with reliable inside sources verified it and says, yep, this is something they are actually talking about behind the scenes. Whether or not they go through with it, we'll have to see, but the fact that even talking about it is crazy. And yeah, turns out that was an actual conversation. Now, again, do you think that was motivated by creative reasons or political reasons? And based on what you guys think, or what your guys' answer is on that, is based on whether or not I will call that woke or not. You can call it bad writing, but really that decision was motivated for political reasons. And that is why I called it woke. That choice, that's one of the decisions I call woke. And Also, it just doesn't make sense from a creative point of view, because changing the Thing into a woman completely destroys the classic relationship that Johnny Storm and Reed Richards has with the Thing. Johnny, if the Thing was a woman now, Johnny can't go around making fun of the Thing anymore without it seeming like he is harassing a woman. And Reed can't have the same close friendship with the Thing either. A guy having a close friendship with a guy is different to a guy having a close friendship with a woman. It just doesn't connect the same way. It's kind of like how guys, like boys, can be friends when they're very young and become childhood friends to adulthood friends. The same with when two girls become childhood friends to adulthood friends. It's just different, the dynamic between boys and boys and girls and girls. And yeah, so them gender swapping the Thing would have been detrimental to the relationship that the Thing has in the comics with Johnny Storm and with Reed Richards. And so gender bending these characters doesn't make sense and fundamentally changes everything about them to the point that they don't resemble what they were or are in the source material. And in the end, these are not wise changes. So the question is, were they creative choices or political ones? And this is where the woke element comes in my opinion, at least in my definition of when I use the word. If they make nonsensical and disrespectful story or character choices that do not come from a place of creativity, but from a place of trying to appear socially aware or political, that to me is woke. When you don't care what the characters are supposed to be, but you just want to change them in a way that gives you a bunch of credit in the moment and gives you a bunch of pats on the back in the moment, that comes under woke to me. So if it selfishly comes from a political pandering place to make yourself feel good, rather than to service the character and the audience and the fan base for said character, that to me is woke. If you compromise the character and the audience just so you can push forward a political message that, again, will give you those pats on the back that you're looking for, then you have failed the character, you have failed your audience, and I'm going to call you woke for that, because that comes across like you didn't do this for the product, for the movie, the show, or the game, or whatever it is. You did it because you wanted it to come across in a certain way, and you wanted it to seem like, see, I'm a good person. That is when it becomes a woke decision. If it's done organically, like, say, Across the Spider-Verse gave us so many diverse Spider-Mans, it did that, you never think of the word woke even once. And it gave you a female Spider-Man, an Asian Spider-Man, an Indian Spider-Man, like so many different Spider-Mans. That is the way it's supposed to be done. Good night, hi, take care. But yeah, that's basically how it's supposed to be done. The G Gamer says, I get it now, thanks for the clarification, Eric. Pizza Man says, yeah, you probably have the best definition of the term. I'm glad that you guys understand my point, that you've heard my side of it. The G Gamer's like, now I understand. Yeah, basically, guys. So I hope that cleared that up as to why I use the word woke. I don't just see they cast a black actor in a white role. That's woke. I don't go around just throwing the word around. Manola says, hi Eric, I just joined the stream. I hope you and your family are doing well. Me and my family are doing well, and I just talked about my definition of woke as to why I use the word woke. I hope you were able to see that. Rohan says, I agree with you, Eric, and understand. George Phillips is like, fair enough. So that's nice to see. I didn't know how this would turn out if I described this, because some people really hate that word. But when I use it, that's my definition of using it. I don't just see someone diverse and say, oh, woke. I don't like that myself when other YouTubers do that. It's why I try to stay away from certain of those kinds as well. But if you know what you're applying it to, then that's when it applies. And there are movies that have done that. The Last Jedi, with its treatment towards Luke Skywalker. Terminator Dark Fate, with how it disrespectfully killed John Connor like he was nothing. And guess what? You might think, oh, that's just bad writing. But it's like, no, that comes under woke because they tried to get a pat on the back again. Because they killed him like he was nothing. And say that we don't need a military leader in the story, only to replace him with a female character who was also diverse, because they get more social points that way. And so in the end, it's like, why'd you kill him? Well, we killed him so we could change him to a woman, and a Mexican woman, so we get more social points for that. And even at one point, Sarah Connor, and I'm paraphrasing here, but Sarah Connor said something like, she's John, like she's John Connor. So it's like they really tried hard to like just say, yeah, he's not John Connor anymore. Here, she's that new military leader in the future now. That was just so bad. And when you hear the director's excuse, he goes, I don't like the idea of the chosen one. So I went with her, so Danny, someone who had who was basically chosen by the hands of fate. And it's like, but didn't you just say you hate the chosen one, but you just went ahead and did a chosen one? It's like these writers don't even have reasons as to why they did it. Like I said, if it was for creative reasons, they would explain why they did it. But it wasn't for creative reasons. It was because their end game was just to swap out John Connor with a woman. They even says at the beginning, we were thinking, how should we do it? Would it be John Connor's daughter? Again, it's like, why would it be a daughter? Why would you think daughter and not think John Connor's son? Or this or that. It's like they just went straight to woman. Like that's straight to what they were trying to do. They were trying to do the strong female character thing. They didn't care how they were going to do it. They just wanted to quickly get John Connor out of that spotlight that he's in, being the face of the franchise, the future military leader, and they wanted to swap it out with a woman that did it as well. And oh, she's a Mexican woman too, so we get more points for that. Except if we fire the Latino women like they did with Melissa Barrera for Scream for expressing support for Palestine. So it's like, you see what I mean? When I say they think they're being good by hiring someone like a Latino woman to play the new military leader by taking a crap on the male character, but then when they hire someone in real life who's a Latina woman, they'll say, yeah, piss off. We don't like what you said. You agree with something that we don't. We're the good guys, but we don't agree with what you said when you're trying to say put an end to the killing. And yeah, we're going to get rid of you. It just shows the contradictory nature of how they're trying to say, look, we're so for Latino women taking over the spot of John Connor as military leader that we'll just kill him off like he's nothing. But in real life, this is how we treat the Latino women that we said that we're really in support of. It just really shows the hypocrisy behind them. Pizza Man says his dad despises Terminator Dark Fate. I despise it too. My mum also despised it as well. She didn't like Terminator Genesis and how they turned John Connor evil in that. She really hated that. And she hadn't seen the trailer, so that came as a surprise to her. But yeah. But like I said, there are movies like John Connor in Terminator Dark Fate where they were clearly just getting rid of him so they could get social points. That way, and countless others. Those are prime examples that fall into the woke camp. And then we get people that fall into the woe camp. Jake, you've just given another $70 donation. Even Rohan is like, Jake is at it again. Jake is back. What's up? Like, yeah, Jake. That is another $70 donation. That is insane. So let's see, what does Jake have to say? Jake, you are too much sometimes. I don't even know what to say. I'll keep giving you a big load of thanks, but I feel like that's still not enough. Jake says, off topic, but I think they should make an open world TMNT game. I totally agree. I really want to play that. In fact, the TMNT 2007 animated movie, I downloaded the GameCube ROM and played that on my Steam Deck. But now I've lost the profile. Something happened when I was swapping files over to my Steam Deck OLED and the files are gone, even though I played hours into the game. I love the DS game of that too, the jumping simulator game. That was so fun back in the day when I was a kid. I used to play it all the time and try to beat my high scores in every round. Anyway, Jake is saying, off topic, but I think they should make an open world TMNT game. I totally agree. Not every game from them has to be a brawler. The new live action Avatar show sounds crappy. Have you seen the original series, by the way? Also, Terminator should have ended after 2. Yes, Terminator should have ended after 2. And they keep trying to make a third movie and say, okay, that third movie is not the third movie anymore. This is the third movie. Alright, that's not the third movie anymore. This is the third movie. And they keep screwing up. So, yeah. The new live action Avatar show sounds crappy. What they did with Sokka, yes it does, where they took out the sexist element of his character because they said it was iffy. That is not iffy. That is what you call character growth, a character flaw, but they took it out because it's considered offensive. Even though there's a lot of other things that they do to guys, and that's not considered offensive, like in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm going to make more videos on this subject matter, but there's other examples of how they mistreated male characters in that, but they're fine with doing that, but they're not okay with a guy being sexist towards a woman. And it wasn't even offensive sexist, it was just baseline, like something that might happen with someone, but he learned from it. In episode 4, he learned from it, not even at the end of the episode, but halfway. Nothing of it was offensive. Heck, if anything, it was done in a comedic fashion. So it was like... And he even got embarrassed by... Oh my god. I heard... The rumor I heard is that he's going to worship the Kyoshi warriors before he sees them. Which just shows they don't understand his character. And if that was a sign... And this just shows a sign as to why they got... The creators left. And then people like that are fine with killing off characters like Batman too, but... Yeah, they don't like... the other stuff. Oh my god, this is just ridiculous. Anyway, hurts my head to think about it. But yeah, and let's see. I agree, Jake. Not every game has to be a brawler. Some people years ago were saying, imagine if Rocksteady made, just like they made the Arkham games, imagine if they made a Turtles game. There were rumors going around of that. Yeah, it would have been cool if something like that could materialize, but I think there is a Turtles game coming. What was it called? Ronin or something? Apparently the rumor is supposed to come out this year. It's meant to be a AAA game. I really would like to see that. I hope it's good. Jake, thank you again for this insane super chat. Seriously, you are too nice to me. All of you guys are too nice to me. I'm one of the luckiest content creators out there to have such a loyal fan base and a respectable fan base too. Look at the conversation we just had. We always have conversations like these, and it always feels like a safe place. Back and forth from me to you, you to me. George Phillips says, if you have to destroy men to make a strong woman, they aren't strong, they're pathetic. True strength is built from the character, not someone else. Yeah, I agree as well. From woke to woo. Yeah, that's true. Jake says, the shot of the blood going back into his body was kind of cool in Genesis, I think. I think that was kind of cool too. I will say this, Genesis to me is a guilty pleasure. I do have fun with it, just as a dumb action movie. And Schwarzenegger was funny in that, and less ridiculous than he was in... Terminator Genesis. Spirit Hero says, American politics and society these days. Free speech is free speech, unless it's something we don't agree with. Lol. That is true. Like Disney arguing over free speech with the Florida incident, which did not work in their favor recently with DeSantis. And they're saying how free speech is important, but then look at how they fire and try to silence people like Mark Ruffalo who speak in support of Palestine. It's like, what happened to their free speech thing? All of a sudden, it goes to show how Hollywood tried to make it look like that they are these good people, but really their actions say otherwise. It's hypocritical. They are master hypocrites. Gregory says, if you want a game, if you want a game that kills off the predecessors in an organic way and still feels respectful to the legacy, play the masterpiece that is Last of Us Part 2. I would respectfully disagree. A lot of people did not like the way Joel was killed off, and I wanted Joel to die in that game, but he was killed off way too early, and there were so many other better and more effective storytelling ways in which they could have done it. So yeah, I think they could have done better, personally. Matthew says, bro's got money to spend, and W Battle says, Jake, you need to calm down with the money. Jake we've all had this conversation with Jake before. He says he's got a good job, so I don't have that conversation with him anymore. I've always made it clear that if you can't afford it, you don't have to donate. I've never wanted you guys to, if that was the case, but you guys have always been generous to me. And look at that, we've got a $20 and $2 super chat now. Let's see, so let's put that down. Oh, damn it, I put a wrong symbol. So $20 and it was $2. So Master Combatant says, I actually love and agree with your point of view on this topic. I really want to be a comic writer, and my first character I made is a female, but I prioritize her character first. Very good. If I was reviewing your comic in a video, or say if your comic was adapted into a movie, I would notice that. Character arc first, gender second. Yeah, although it is very important to keep this in mind when it comes to female characters. What makes female characters stand out and different and unique from male characters is their feminine beauty, the feminine qualities in them. Women are just more... Men and women are born very different, and they are very natural, and they are very just naturally born with very distinctive qualities that the other doesn't have. So men might be more thick-skinned, they might be more, confident. Girls might not be, but one thing that they also are is very nurturing. So they innately have that quality. Whenever you see, like in the adverts when we were kids, we would go for the big action toys, like when I was a kid, Action Man, Ninja Turtles, Batman, all that stuff, Max Steel. But when it was my sisters, and when it was just cousins or just any other girls that you'd see at school, or even in adverts, it would always be baby dolls that they would always like cradle and try to treat like an actual baby. It just goes to show that innately, girls seem to have this nurturing quality. And when they're young, it's like they want to look after babies and feed them bottles and everything. But when you're older, society tries to teach you other things. But it just goes to show that innately, a lot of them have this quality. And then there are girls that don't, who also want to play with the Turtles toys and the Max Steels and all that stuff. And those are what you call tomboys. But now, and it was very simple to understand back then. But nowadays, they try to lump all of that into the LGBTQ side. I'm like, no, it's not that side. This is just very simple stuff that we were always exposed to back in the days, when, at least in my childhood. But it's like now we're trying to put it into another camp, and it just doesn't fit in that. That's a separate side. This is also a separate side. So make sure to write them with their feminine qualities. The characters like Ripley, Sarah Connor, they're badasses, but they're feminine badasses. They're still very much women. Ripley was still very much a mother, and so was Sarah Connor, when she realized that she was becoming herself a Terminator in the second movie, to the point that even the Terminator theme was playing as she was trying to kill Miles Dyson. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that. And MovieFan2002 says, I'm guessing your rating is a 1 out of 10. For Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, I've not even played it. The game is just a live service game, and I don't like live service games. I like games that are single players. I don't play live service games in general, but the game doesn't really have much stuff going on as you're playing. Apparently you can watch the cutscenes, which I have, and you can just see a lot of the cutscenes, and all the important stuff is there. Heck, I've heard there's a lot of filler in the cutscenes, but there's far more filler in the gameplay. So unlike the Batman Arkham games, where a lot of the stuff that you had to see was in-game, it doesn't seem to be the case, really, with the Suicide Squad game, because the gameplay is just so repetitive. Thank you very much for the Super Chats, guys. That was very nice to see. And this support, don't underestimate the support that you're giving me. Whenever you give me these donations, it really does help to make this a living, and you guys really are just way too kind to me. Have I played Minecraft? No, because I was terrified that I would just spend my whole life on it, which a lot of people have, people I know growing up. So I tried to stay away from it. Okay, and it seems like a lot of you guys are still watching. The video is doing incredibly well, the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League video, and I have got a couple more coming up, so if you like that, you can keep an eye on that, because I've got more. And by the way, I'm not done talking about this yet either. Now, I've talked about the woke movies and everything, what I consider to be woke. Now it's time to talk about how my definition of woke relates to Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Now, I have grown up watching movies and shows where male and female characters have teamed up, worked together, and complemented each other. And then, all of a sudden, we went through this phase in Hollywood where they were trying to push the strong female character, which was basically a knee-jerk reaction from the industry when Trump got elected and started saying nasty stuff about women. And I don't like the stuff that Trump said about women. It was clearly not good. Yes, Jake, that sounds like a perfectly appropriate name too. There are many appropriate names for them. So basically, when Trump got elected and said those things, that started a whole movement against Trump, and Hollywood thought they could capitalize on this. So they started writing women as the strong female character in an attempt to make them strong. They essentially took away all the feminine qualities and had to prove that they could do everything without the help of a man. That's what I was saying to you, buddy, about your comic that you said you were trying to write. I said make sure you write the feminine qualities in there, because these movies, they tried to take the feminine qualities out when they were writing strong female characters. So they were essentially writing roles for men, but just cast a woman in the role. So that just takes away what makes the female character unique. So, when I grew up and watched men and women team up, work together, and complement each other, that suddenly became offensive in the eyes of Hollywood, all of a sudden. So they had the female character talk down to the male characters, or they made made them all female teams, or the male character couldn't, and they were all rallying to fight one bad man. or the male character couldn't even teach them anything, which is evident with Luke in The Last Jedi, where he didn't even treat Rey how to use a lightsaber, she taught herself. I mean, try taking a sword and teaching yourself how to use it. You're gonna cut yourself. You can't just teach yourself that. And if that wasn't enough, on top of that, they also had to make the men look pathetic and weak, so that way the female characters look stronger. Now, some of these movies just did some of these things. Might have done one of these things, they might have done a couple of these things, but then you had other movies that tried to do all of those things. They had various approaches to this, though. And this is where the problem came in with regards to storytelling. I mean, even Emily Blunt and Hayley Atwell have talked about how they roll their eyes when they open a script and see the words strong female in there. Like, Emily Blunt said that she's immediately just turned off because they don't have interesting characters. And Hollywood and the industry at large is trying to move away from that. In particular, it's taking Disney the longest to move away from it. What with the MCU and Lucasfilm, and with Marvel, they're still trying to do this female characters thing in there. Has got them into a lot of trouble. Even She-Hulk has been apparently cancelled behind the scenes, but Kevin Feige is still trying to basically do the strong female character writing wrong. He's trying to do it wrong and infect it into X-Men, and he's also trying to do it into the Fantastic Four now as well, which is just, again, repeating the same mistake. So Disney are really the reason they're in the doghouse with regards to audiences, and they had such a terrible 2023, is because audiences just don't trust them. So, whereas I grew up with male and female characters who teamed up, worked together, and complemented each other, the new age of Hollywood felt like it was boys and girls against each other. It was boys versus girls. Girls are better than men. That's what it became. And there are still remnants of that going round. The CW-DC shows really tried to lay that on thick with their messages, to the point that in the CW crossovers, it constantly felt like a battle between boys versus girls. I mean, if I can make this clear to you with this one scene. There were many scenes, but one scene. They had like 3 or 4 Supermans on their team, multiverse Supermans, and Batwoman says to Supergirl, "If you quit, we are all doomed." Even though they had like 3 or 4 Supermans on their team. And those Supermans kept coming back and saying, "I failed." We didn't even see what they failed at, but they failed. Yes, Jake. Basically like a grade 2 or 3 playground. So, yeah. And also, do you remember in The Flash? I did this in one of my videos when I talked about it. Remember the whole hashtag feminism thing they were doing as well? And that teenage girl saying that she wants to show that a powerful, strong woman can wear anything skimpy and pole dance. Because that's strong women. Oh my god, that's just kind of showing how crazy this is. Like I said, it hurts my head. I just get exhausted thinking about how silly that is. It's like you're basically doing what you're trying to say that you're fighting against, which is the male gaze, but you're going to do it because you want it. But it's like that's something they wanted you to do. It's just crazy. It's like, what backwards thinking is this? So it's just so freaking weird how they try to take these things and make it seem empowering. And I'm not kidding, that was actually the writing in there. Go watch one of my I can't remember where I reviewed it. It must have been one of the CW reviews I did, but I talked about that, where they were all like fist bumping the 3 girls saying hashtag feminism. So silly. But there is clearly a culture that has taken place in Hollywood and now the game industry, where you can tell that both men and women are being pitted against each other at these studios. And for a while now, it's been trickling down into these popular franchises as well. And I don't like that. Because like I said, I grew up with everyone being unified, and when you watched those old shows like Teen Titans, Young Justice, Batman the Animated Series, Justice League the Animated Series, the male and female characters all felt respected and treated equal. And never once would you think anything toxic was at play, or a boys versus girls mentality, or boys versus girls thing was at play. But you don't get that feeling with several things now, and gaming is one of them, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is the latest example. And we will talk about that after I answer Master Combatant his $20 super chat. Thank you very much, Master Combatant. You've been giving me so many super chats. So many of you have. If you want a good comparison of my character, I think her personality should be compared to Cassie Cage from Mortal Kombat. Kind of sassy and a bit arrogant at first, but her likability isn't compromised. That's good. You're taking on very good notes. This is a comic book that if someone told me in these words that you're using, this is what the female character was like, I would be like, good. I would actually read that. So, very good job. You're on a right track. So keep it up. Very well done, Master Combatant. Now, going back to my point that I was saying, when I said that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is the latest example of all this, that's how it feels that's how it feels in this game, as literally everything you see with regards to Wonder Woman was done with the utmost respect. Take a look at this. This is the face of the Suicide Squad when Wonder Woman is dying. This is what happens to Wonder Woman when she's trying to talk and saying that she's failed and all that stuff, and Harley puts her finger over her mouth and says, "Don't talk." And then she basically gives her very nice words. And look at Harley's face again, looking all sad. This is stuff that I like, but my problem is that why couldn't you do something like this with all the characters? Why is it just Wonder Woman? Because I love Wonder Woman as a character. But like I said, when I was growing up, Justice League the Animated Series, Batman the Animated Series, Teen Titans, Young Justice, all the boys and girls characters, they were all treated equally. But I don't see that here, and that's what makes me sad about this. And that's where I said it felt like the woke element came in. My definition that I've told you guys about what I think woke means and entails, that's where it comes in. In their final moments, basically, like I said, everything we see with regards to Wonder Woman was done with the utmost respect. And I would have preferred if they gave that same respect to the rest of the heroes and treated all of them equally. But they didn't. Wonder Woman gets to die as a majestic hero. It was a cool scene. It was a superhero send-off. It was respectable for the character. And they could have done that with Batman and all the other heroes in their final moments. In their final moments, they could have broken out of their trance by Brainiac. But no, they just kill them off abruptly and with no respect. Batman, of all people in the Arkham games, has constantly been able to withstand his mind being warped and controlled. So he should have been able to withstand Brainiac. Maybe if Batman broke out of his trance and told the Suicide Squad to kill him because he can't stop it. You know, something. But no. As I said, Wonder Woman gets to die as a majestic hero, but the rest of the heroes who just happen to be men got taken out abruptly and disrespectfully. I mean, the Flash got frickin' peed on. I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. Do you think they would have tried that on Wonder Woman? Not to mention that, and what makes it worse is that the Flash saved the Suicide Squad twice before he got mind controlled. At that point, you can say what you want. Wonder Woman didn't save them, but the Flash did. Twice. And at that point, you can say what you want. The bias from these writers show that they are Team Woman and screw men. These are crazy people that the industry... that in the industry, they have proved it with all these characters. These are crazy people in the industry that have proved it, that they are basically pro-woman and basically screw men. And they proved it with the execution of the deaths of all these characters, including Batman. And Rocksteady would not be the company they are today if it wasn't for Batman. And they treated him like complete and utter shit. Spirit Hero, they peed on him. Well, Captain Boomerang peed on him. And Deadshot says, "Have some class, man." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Whoa, good job." He meant his Boomerang's privates was big in size, so he meant good job. And then Harley salutes the size of his thing, and then he proceeds to pee on him, and it's done off screen. That was sad. That was heartbreaking. That's what I mean. Would they do this to Wonder Woman? So when I say call this woke because of their treatment of the men versus the women, in this case the woman, Wonder Woman, can you see where I'm coming from? I'm not trying to just use the word because people use it. It's because it hurts to see how they've treated these characters, and they just so happen to be the male characters. That doesn't mean I'm making connections that aren't there. I'm just saying it as I see it. The men were treated badly. The woman was treated with the utmost respect. So, like I said, and this comes from Sweet Baby Inc., which is a company I've learned is actually supposed to be a consultant company that shows how to expand, you know, diversity and how to basically make stories more investing and how to make, you know, like, they've got it on their website. They try to make characters more rich, but Captain Boomerang peeing on the Flash, that is not rich. If they were monitoring this, they should have looked at that and says, take that out. Give these characters a dignified send-off. But they didn't, because they're also hypocrites. They're trying, just like Hollywood, they're trying to say that we are pro this, that we are all for this, we're good people, but really, when you see what they're really like, they're not. So they are just their own extreme. Do you know how you get the people say that you get toxic people that keep calling things woke? Well, these are the other side of that toxicity. That's what they are. And at this point, if people want to call it woke, if I make more videos and I call it out as woke, it's not unwarranted, guys. I'm not calling it that just to, you know, leapfrog or just jump on a word that a lot of people use. I call it that when I see it that way. I don't throw that word around lightly, and I see it that way with this game. And it's with the Arkham franchise and Arkham Batman, something that I've loved since... See you, Jake. Thank you so much for your support, and I'm sorry you couldn't be here for the rest of this. We're going to talk about more things, but thank you very much, Jake. It was really nice having you here. Thank you very, very much, and take care. I really hope to see you again on the next live stream. And thanks again for so much of the donations you've given me. I really appreciate it. And try to work on the Streamlabs thing. If you want to do a $1 test just to see how it works out and how easy it is, that would be great. That would be. But because like I said, that way YouTube can never take from your donations more than they're supposed to. So thank you very much, Jake. I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take care, buddy. I really appreciate it. Man, I'm really feeling woozy with my stomach here. I need to get some food. That's why I said this was going to be a long discussion. But yeah, and Wonder Woman even has a better bio than the male heroes. Her bio was written, it's a long written bio, and it's written with respect, but it's also written with some activism, as it's supposed to be, as it said that her people conquered toxic masculinity and stuff, and that's where you feel like the writers are clearly talking about her, but then it turns out that Lex Luthor was the one writing that bio of her. It's like he doesn't even seem like... It's like... Lex Luthor didn't even seem like his own character. It's like the activists were just writing what they wanted to write, and they completely forgot to write for the character. Because Lex Luthor wouldn't praise Wonder Woman as much as he did, and he's even said that she's the best of all of them, meaning the best of the Justice League. Again, where's the equal treatment here? This is a team that has Superman, and you're saying that Wonder Woman treats them the best? She has had her down points too, so it's like, why are they ignoring those? Spirit Hero, you read my mind. And... yeah, but the rest of the Justice League, their bios have been written by the rest of the Suicide Squad, like Captain Boomerang and stuff, and they just insult them, and they're very small, short-written bios, and they're disrespectful, but it's like, what, you couldn't have them be written respectably by Lex Luthor or something? Because... or the bio couldn't be written with more class, but there was no class. They keep prioritizing Wonder Woman over the rest, and they keep treating her with respect, but it's like, I like the respect you treated Wonder Woman with, but why couldn't you treat the rest of them with that respect? It literally is because they're just guys. That's literally the only reason I can see. So that's my discussion on this subject matter. On Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Now, another thing I wanted to... now, what do you guys think of everything I said. Do you think I am over the top when I use the word wokes? Do you still think it should not be used? Do you still think I'm using it wrong or I shouldn't use it? Or do you understand my perspective as to why I use the word woke? I'm looking at the chat now, so that's why I'm asking you guys, because before I had to focus on the story. So what do you think? Don't worry, we'll talk about that, Rohan, in a bit, but let's first talk about the subject matter I just talked about, the whole thing with the Suicide Squad. Do you agree with what I said? No, I do not have any problems with Puss in Boots 2 in that regard. I think they did the representation phenomenally well. They had, was it Spanish characters? I don't know what you'd call those. Is it? Do you just say Spanish characters? Because you say Latino for Mexicans. Do you say that here? Or? But yeah, they did it very well. You think I'm using the word just fine? Okay, that's great. It's okay, says Jess. I agree with you, with Eric on this, says Jess. Rohan says, I officially agree with you. Brandon says, no, I think you're fair, and understandably when you discuss wokeness, Eric. Spirit Hero says, nah, you utilize it pretty well. I watched your video yesterday and you were right. The graphics are bad and look like Fortnite. They do. The graphics are not bad, but they're not good when compared to what has come before and what you'd expect from this quality of console and quality of AAA franchise. Rohan says, I agree with you, Eric. The way they kill Batman in the game was disrespectful. Gregory says, no, I mean with the movie in general. Oh, no, with the movie in general? I don't really think I do, to be honest with you. I would have to nitpick, and I'd have to see it again, because it's not, the problems are not apparent to me, as they would be with other movies. MovieFan 2002 says, as someone who is tired of that word, I think this is an appropriate case for this game. That was nice to hear, that was, because there's other people, that's one thing that I don't like when other people exploit the word, is that when people use it in the right context, you get comments and people saying to you that, oh, you're just using that word again just because. It's like, no, I only use that word when I feel like I genuinely see it. The Logman says, what were your thoughts on the bride in Kill Bill as you called her a good, strong female character? I did. I called her a good, strong female character in the past. She is a great, strong female character. She even went through training, something that Rey did not. Dark Saber says, yes, I agree with you. Sandman says, Gregory, I have. That's why I've got... what do you think the title of this live stream is? I will be talking about that. Drake says, shame on them. Sandman says, hot take. I think Nolan North would have made a better Eggman than Jim Carrey. Fair enough. Jim Carrey is not technically Eggman. He's playing Jim Carrey playing Eggman. But I'm okay with that in this particular case. He made those movies. If he wasn't in it, I probably wouldn't have rushed out to watch them. Selena says, I feel bad for Kevin Conroy. He deserves better than this. He really did. But I do wish I could ask him, what did you think of this? Were you contractually obliged or contractually obligated to come in here and do this? Or did you genuinely look at this and think this was a good idea? Eric, thoughts on Marvel making a female Iron Fist show? For me, Iron Fist show, not fish, Iron Fist show. For me, I hate that idea of a female Iron Fist. If they make it, I'm done with Disney and Marvel. I didn't like the original Iron Fist. I thought they did poorly with him. So I think they should try to fix him rather than say we're going to introduce a female Iron Fist. And it's too early for that, I think. You know, develop him enough first, then do it. Sandman 2000 says, the way you use woke is perfect. DC09 says, I understand. It's okay. The Dark Lord, the game was a waste of time, money, and code. Big Bash, you speak common sense. Master Combat, yeah, all of you seem to be very in agreement with me in terms of how I use the word, so I appreciate that, thank you, because this seems to be a hot button topic, and I didn't know that it was a hot button topic, talking about the word woke. But I'm glad I made my case clearly to you guys, because it could have been so easily lost in translation, but thankfully you guys got it. Man, I've got a stomach pain and a half. Don't think I can remember the last time I was this hungry, and I've still got a while left on the live stream because of the two other stories we're talking about. George Phillips says you used it pretty well. Big Bash says, it's sad a game from 9 years ago is better than a game from 2024. A game from 13 years ago is better than it was in 2024. I mean, Arkham City is a better game. Going back even 15 years ago, Arkham Asylum is better than this game. Jess says, Iron Fist and Inhuman are the worst shows of all time. Do you agree? I've not seen either of them, so I can't comment on that. Gregory Bronstein says, you use the word woke better than Ben Shapiro, lol. Yeah, Shapiro used it on the Batman, didn't he? People were telling me about that. Again, I didn't agree with it on the Batman. Sandman says, let's make entertainment great again. Zilla Universe says, shame on game journalists that are trying to defend this game from people calling the game woke by using Kevin Conroy's sexuality as shield against the criticism as he is gay. Are they doing that? Because IGN actually agreed with people. They didn't use the word woke, but they agreed with people when they said the death was disrespectful. But I can't help but wonder if that's because IGN felt like they finally can crap talk the game because they didn't get review code, so they felt they were open to crapping on it. Parker CS says, can you read my previous comment? What did you write on your previous comment? Have you heard of the Stranger Things prequel play, The First Shadow? I hear its lore will be incorporated into the final season. I've heard rumblings of it, but I didn't look into it. So that's interesting that they'll make its way into the final season. Not that I really feel interested in watching it, because I didn't like Season 4 of Stranger Things. That really just didn't work for me that season. And the hypocrisy of Netflix as well. $5 super chat from Polar MP5K, who says, hi Eric, do you play Fortnite? Because it has a lot of crossover skins such as Batman, Spider-Man, Darth Vader, and so many more. Yeah, they also had John Wick in there and many other types. No, I don't play it. I don't really have interest in. I've played it at my friend's house a little, but I didn't even know where to run, where the action was, and it looked a bit too kiddie for me. I don't like playing games that just never end. I like to play games that, much like movies, have a beginning, middle, and end. Very rarely would I play a game that just keeps on going. But the games I play, they, like 99.9% of the games I play are single-player, story-driven games that have beginning, middle, and ends to them. And then I'll replay them if I want to, but I don't like it when games just never end, which is what the studio is banking on. So they can make bank from you, so they can just they'll have a never-end supply of money coming in, but that's not how you do it. Hey Eric, have you ever played Stray? I haven't, I'm sorry to say. Okay, now I want to quickly show you guys something. This is my video, Studios Destroying the Legacy of Popular Male Characters. Now, I'm just going to move this around over here, and I'm going to show you the viewership that I've got here. You can see over here I got just under 18,000 views on the video at this point, and this was before I even did the live stream, so this was about 2 hours ago I took this picture. Great video, says Sandman, thank you very much. This video took quite a bit to edit, so I'm glad you liked it. But look at the likes and dislike ratio, because YouTube removed the dislikes, don't they? So you get an approximate amount if you use the web browser extension. You get an approximated amount of viewership, of dislikes basically. But I'm showing you, this is the dislike ratio to like ratio. 1,450 likes to 44 dislikes. That just shows you how much people agreed with my perspective. And I didn't use the word woke in the video because you shouldn't feel this way, but admittedly, sometimes I do. I did feel afraid that some people would not like it, the fact that I call it that, especially you guys, who I respect all of you guys very much. I didn't want you guys to just think of me in that way, that I'm just another one using that word. So that's why I wanted to make this live stream and set the record straight with you guys before I decide to call this game woke in my next video. When I make that, the script is practically done. Like I think the script is 100% done. I've just got to make little changes, see if I can add bits of extra information, but that's ultimately it. But yeah, this is probably about the best description of my definition of the woke word that I think I can possibly give you. So I might even edit a portion of this and publish it on YouTube for you guys. But yeah, and we got a Master Combatant, another $5 super chat. You have absolutely outdone yourself with the super chats, buddy, I've got to say. This is probably a hot take. I consider this game one of the worst pieces of media, along with Justice League and the Last Airbender movie. That's not a bad take. That is actually a pretty good take. That is that very fair take. In terms of story, certainly. In terms of how it treats a franchise that has been on nothing but winning streaks, it's perfectly fair to call it that. What's that, Rohan? You say 19,000. Has the views gone up to 19,000 now? That is cool. Drake Holly says, you use woke well, Eric. You're good, trust me. That's good, then. I'm glad you guys think so. Jess even says, no, Eric, you're good. Woke doesn't bother me. That's what I call She-Hulk. Well, she even talked down to Bruce Banner. They tried to make her better than him, didn't they? Like I said, that wasn't for story reasons. That was done just so they can make her look better than him. Fireboy, there's too many to count. My favorite Arkham Batman moments. Batman's final explosive punch to Joker in Arkham Asylum was great. Batman, the death of Joker and Batman carrying him out was great. His dead body out. So many great moments. So many great moments, which just makes it hurt all the more that they ruined it. Guys, I'm gonna head downstairs just for about 30 seconds, because I'm genuinely getting a stomachache right now, and talking and drinking the water is not helping. It actually makes me feel a little nauseous, so I just want to get a chocolate bar or something just to have some sugar. So I will be right back, and then we'll move on to the next story about Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and then we'll move on to Carl Weathers. So I'll be back in about 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back, okay? So, give me a second. Let's just fix that. There we go. Agrunzubs Khan says, Eric has left us. What shall we do? Well, I hope many of you didn't get bored. I did take longer than 30 seconds. This chat has slowed down. Looks like some people left. We'll be right back. Yes, I was right back. I really wasn't feeling good. I felt nauseous, almost like I was gonna pass out. Ugh. So, I just got some chocolate. Believe it or not, these live streams actually do take it out of me. But I don't think anyone has exhorted me as much as this one. This live stream, surprisingly. Brandon says, get some food in you, Eric. That's the thing, I don't think I've eaten at all today. Yeah, I've not eaten at all today. I just had some of this chocolate earlier. I was thinking of eating before doing the stream. Then I thought, no, it'll probably get too late. Big Bash says, it's always fun when Eric streams while I'm at the gym. Well, while you're at the gym, I'm eating chocolate right now. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. That's never happened to me in a stream before, but man, did I just not feel good there. I felt like I wanted to drink some water, like probably thinking that would help. But I knew there would be an empty pit in my stomach and it would just make me feel worse. Have you ever had an empty pit in your stomach, and then you drink water, and your hollow stomach all of a sudden feels even more hollow? Ugh. I'm feeling a bit better. Yeah, I actually asked my brother if he could make me something, so... Normally I don't, I make my own stuff right after the stream is over, and if I'm really tired I'll order something. But this time I asked my brother, I said, whatever we got, can you just make me something? So... Because yeah, that got exhausting, and I still had 2 stories to go through. Okay. Oh, you guys are so nice. I'm scrolling through. Welcome back, Eric. When did you eat? I did not eat today. That's the thing. I had to do some errands and some shopping outside. Big Bash says, I remember one time as a kid I passed out. I feel like I probably got close to passing out, but I don't know if I ever did actually pass out. I did sleepwalk once. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing, but that's the closest I can think of after passing out. Brandon Beldam says, a chocolate bar a day keeps the dementors away. Yeah, for sure. What do you think of IGN reacting to Arkham Batman's death? I liked it. It was very informative. And it's kind of what freaked me out a little, like put me on edge. I was like, this is not something that IGN usually do. They don't normally talk common sense. Do you remember when people were unhappy with Joel's death in The Last of Us, and they says that you're just incels who are basement dwellers? Some silly woman at the who worked at IGN just accused people of that, who didn't like Joel's death. I was like, that's not contributing to the conversation in a mature manner. So she's accusing others of acting in a certain way, but then she does that. But again, because these people, they can be crazy where they think, yeah, but we're coming at it, we are in the right with our opinion, so we can treat you like crap. We can treat you like shit because we're right. It just goes to show you that that doesn't make you better than the other side that you think you're fighting against. It makes you the other side of the extreme. You're the polar opposite. That's what it basically means. Now, I got $2 super chat here from MovieFan2002. You guys have been so good with the super chats today, seriously. MovieFan says, you don't have to do these live streams every week. I know, but I really enjoy, genuinely, I mean it, I do enjoy spending time with you guys. This is fun to me. I just need to plan it better myself. Because these streams, it's not a simple matter of me just coming onto a live stream and hitting play. I gotta set these up. I've got to write my notes. I've got to do my research. And I try to do it on the same day. Because when I'm not doing that, I'm editing and writing my other videos. So it's hard to keep a balance of this stuff, but I try. But that's why I didn't eat. Because it just goes to show how much work I gotta put in. Big Bash says, what do you eat when you have dinner usually? a variety of things, but the thing that I've been making a lot lately is chicken with boiled rice. I get some peri powder, hot peri rub, mix it in with some chicken, put some garlic powder in there, some smoked paprika, and stir it up and mix it, put it in the frying pan, and then I get some rice going, and then I just put it inside this big lock and lock box, which is like a homemade rice box, basically. So you don't have to go to a takeaway. It's like you made your own takeaway, and you know exactly what goes in your chicken. And it doesn't cost anywhere near as much. I mean, the amount they charge for rice boxes these days. Anyway, I'm feeling a bit recharged now, so we can move on to the next story. But yeah, I will say about IGN, I am genuinely surprised that they gave the right opinion. And I feel like the only reason they gave the right opinion on this is because IGN did not give them the review code, because Warner Brothers did not give them the review codes, and they were a bit salty about it. That's why they did it. If they did give them the review codes, I'm sure they would have tried to spin it on the audience and try to say it's just toxic viewers again. They would have used the word toxic, or they would have said, oh, it's just people. It's like a game called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. What did they think was going to happen? They would have done something really underhanded like that. But because they were not respected by the studio, they ended up being honest for once. And not trying to turn an enemy into the fan base. And they gave a good opinion. See, this is what IGN did. I would pay attention to them more often. Now, Nanomator says, hey Eric, you put a lot of effort into your Versus videos. You deserve respect. In fact, I think you are underrated when compared to some other YouTubers. That is very nice. I really appreciate that. I do put a lot of work into all the videos. I mean, even this video I just did with the Suicide Squad, there were many times when I was editing it, I was thinking, this is a smaller video compared to my bigger videos. I was thinking, I can take some editing shortcuts here, and in the end I didn't. I still put in a lot of effort with animations and everything, and a lot of text and text effects. And turns out it was a very good choice because the video was great in the end, and a lot of people watched it, and it's like, imagine if I took shortcuts on a video that a lot of people watched. I'd be like, no, I can do better editing, I swear. They'll be like, yeah, but we got to see another video, but we're clicking out. So I hope now they've seen the better editing that I'm doing. George Phillips says, knocked out animation. Eric, you should do top 10 best and worst movies of 2024 rather than top 5. Keep up the good work on YouTube, bro. I don't really feel like there are as many movies that warrant a top 10, which is why usually I've always done top 5s. But 2023 is the exception. I think I had seen enough movies to where movies could be in my top 10 best and worst list, but for time purposes, I had to make them runners up in my top 5 best videos list so I could just get to my worst ones, because then I had to work on these other videos. Whew, but yeah, this chocolate is making me feel a lot better. Anyway, time to move on, guys. Time to move on. Now, do you remember when Jim Carrey said that he's retiring from acting when he was promoting Sonic the Hedgehog 2? A lot of us were like, he's retiring? Well, let's hope that if he does retire, that he just does one more movie, just one more. Sonic 3, that'll be a trilogy. And, well, look what little birdie gave this information out recently. Jim Carrey returning for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Yeah. Jim Carrey returning for this movie. I didn't think that would happen. Did you guys think that would happen? I was uncertain, to be perfectly honest with you. But I will say, my dad brought this up, and it does seem kind of true. It's like, my dad said, do you think he only did this so he could get a better deal? Because when actors in demand say, we're retiring, or we're not going to do any more of this, in order for the studio to get them back, they have to give them a sweeter payday, basically, to bring them back. Said, okay, we know you said you want to retire, but here, we'll pay you more, and please come back to our movie. We know you're retiring, but please, we would have paid you this, but we'll pay you this now instead. I feel like that's what Jim Carrey must have done. My dad gave that as an idea, and it turns out it must have been true, because clearly that's what he's done. That's a smart move from Jim Carrey. You can imagine him doing that crazy laugh that he did in The Mask after they got off the phone and gave him a sweeter deal. But yeah, Movie Fan says exactly what I was thinking. I was praying for his return, and I am so happy he is back. Me too, because the movie would not have been the same without him. And the fact that he is in it is phenomenal, because he is my favorite parts of those previous movies, and if he was not in it, I gotta tell you, I don't think I would be interested in watching the movie. It's kind of like how I didn't watch Creed 3 because Rocky isn't in it, and he's the best thing of those Creed movies. So it's kind of my opinion on that thing. Yeah, the Ace Ventura laugh as well. So yeah, you guys all seem to be happy. This is a very short story. I could go on longer, but I think I'll just skip a lot of stuff. Well, not skip is the wrong word. I don't really have anything else to say about it, except that he said he's not in it, and now he is. And it's great, because he was great in those other two movies. So I'm super happy that he's coming back. What do you guys think? Yeah, Riddler and the Grinch. Speaking of the Grinch, I'm going to put my Let's Watch of Jim Carrey's The Grinch on my Patreon probably tomorrow. So you guys can watch it tomorrow, where I've watched the whole movie and I give my review on it. And that's the first time I'm watching the movie after 20 years. And you've already seen my review in the Versus video, but on my Patreon you'll get to see my live reaction as I was watching the movie. Thunderlord says, do you think people just use woke as an excuse to be discriminatory? There are some people that are just, they don't admit it, but they are racists. And they, you know, they don't like it when black people or people of color are in movies, and they just decide to use it because they say, well, this is the reason why. It's like, yeah, but when there's a good example, why are you now using that word there? You shouldn't be using it here, but you use it anyway. That is basically my prerogative on it. So yes, there are people that just use it and they try to seem like they're the victims or the good guys. And it's happened to me where I've followed people on YouTube where I'm like, yeah, this person is a good person. They're using woke the way I use it. And then they call something else woke that isn't woke, and then you're like, what the hell? Jess, I will. It'll be on my Patreon, so you'll definitely be able to see it. Don't worry. I should probably chill out tonight, though. Even though it is 8:30 here in the PM. Sandman says, Jess, don't make him. Seriously, guys, how bad is this trailer supposed to be for Megamind? Big Bash says, how do you feel when people use woke when they are gay characters? Well, it depends. If they made a character that isn't gay, there is no storytelling reason for doing that. The only reason they do it is because they just want to force in diversity there. That's why I say, if you want to do it with original characters. So yes, I would describe that. It's kind of like when you forcefully race change a character. If you forcefully change that of a character, then yeah, that also is forced, because why else would you do it other than just to say, we did it, give us praise for it? Yeah, a lot of you seem to be saying it's horrible. Don't worry, it'll be on my Patreon. You guys can watch it. They didn't even bring back the original voice actors. Damn, does it at least sound like the original voice actors? Really bad. It ruined what made the movie awesome. The sad thing is, gay characters are usually poorly written in movies today. Thing is, that's because you should just... I don't really think there should be a thing called gay characters, because what makes it special? Like, if you say black character, you'll be like, alright, you know what you can do with a black character. But when you say gay character, it's like, you're just describing their sexual preference. What can you really write about that? There are certain discriminatory things that maybe you could write about, but on the whole, what does it really add? Nothing. Jess says it needed a high budget, but it looks like a PS3 game from 2010. That's what Mega Man 2 looks like. Except for Arcane was good, but like I said, even there I felt like they just rushed it quick, because the main character, she seems very closed off, and yet when she was lying down on the bed with that love interest of hers, I was like, oh, they're already doing this. That was a bit quick. I thought they'll take a bit of time before they got there, but no, they were already lying in bed with each other. Like, I was like, that's, a bit too quick. But yeah, that's a better example of one. I remember liking the gay character that was in the Power Rangers movie that I did a Versus video of for all those years ago. Movie Fan says the new Megamind trailer looks so bad that it makes Chicken Run 2 look like a masterpiece. Wow, that would be shocking. Eric, there are rumors that Hayden Christensen is going to play Shadow in the third Sonic. What do you think of the casting choice, and you think is accurate to the character of Shadow? It's rumors. I don't really know for sure. So, I don't know. We'll see. I've always wanted to play that Shadow the Hedgehog game when I was a kid on GameCube, but I never had a GameCube at the time. I never had a console at the time. And I did download it for my original Steam Deck, Shadow the Hedgehog. I think I played a little, and I thought I'll get back to it at some point, but I never did. But yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog is a character that looked cool in the adverts for the game that he was in all those years ago. Those trailers, those TV spots for the game. Alright. It's now time to move on to our next story, but before we do, I just got a Streamlabs chat, it appears. So, let's write that down. Yako, the Volcanic Muto. Alright, I'm gonna head out now. I hope you have a good rest of your day. My new channel is King of the Studios, by the way. Oh, so that was you. Was that you commenting? I didn't know that was you commenting. Oh, cool. I hope to have a good birthday tomorrow. I'll be 19. Thank you for the birthday wishes and hope you had fun on the stream. Had a lot of fun on the stream, and I'm glad that you guys, from the sounds of things, had fun on the stream. And happy birthday to you for tomorrow. And thanks for the super chats. Thanks for everything. It was great to have you on. We've only got one more story, which is about Carl Weathers, and then I'll be ending the stream. So, yeah. Thank you very much, buddy. It was great having you on. Yes, I've heard Kristen Ritter is voicing character in Sonic 3. Okay. It's time to move on now. No, Big Bash, they're not really tiring me out, monitoring the two chats. It's just at the rate they were coming in. But it's a good problem to have. I'm not complaining. It just gets you tired after you do it. But me getting really tired probably was my fault because I hadn't eaten today, and that was my bad. You just lose track of that sometimes, especially when you're doing a lot of work that I'm doing. Alright now, time to move on to the next story. And a blank, empty slate is kind of how everyone feels right now, because Carl Weathers, who played, as you can see... Oh, damn it. Carl Weathers, the actor Carl Weathers, has passed away. Now, who is Carl Weathers, you ask? Carl Weathers played Apollo in Rocky. He also played Dylan in Predator. And he was also in The Mandalorian. And his character was a very good one in The Mandalorian. He started out seeming a bit like a bad guy, but then he turned into a good guy. And unfortunately, he's passed away. And the shame about him being passed away is that he was still supposed to be in Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's Star Wars universe going forward, but now they're going to have to write around him. First Ray Stevenson, and now Carl Weathers. That's two losses in the Star Wars universe with these actors. It's quite surprising. But yeah, he always did seem incredibly nice whenever he was on screen. He was always very charismatic when he was in movies. And yeah, it's just such a shame. It's just another example of a shame of one of these actors that we've lost. But yeah, I have nothing but good memories whenever I saw him in a movie. I never saw him in a movie and thought he was bad. I never even thought he was good. He was always great whenever he was in a movie. And I was happy to see him when he showed up in Star Wars, in The Mandalorian. And he even directed an episode of The Mandalorian. I think it was in season 2 he directed an episode, and there was a video where he actually talks about where him and the cast of The Mandalorian are all there, and he talks about how he was able to direct this, and he goes that he's had conversations like that before, but they never usually happen. But with Star Wars, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau allowed him to direct an episode. They said he could, and they actually let him do it. They didn't just say it and give an empty promise. So you can tell he enjoyed that, and he did a phenomenal job directing that episode. When I covered it on my podcast on Patreon, The Mandalorian Season 2, this is going way back, I said I was surprised, basically, that he did it, because it didn't seem like an actor had directed this episode, because the action was handled so well. So yeah, he did a phenomenal job, he did. And it is sad. We have lost, as they say, it's kind of what they always say, but it is true. We have lost a great talent here. So yes, rest in peace indeed. And Sandman says, I almost cried when he died. Jess says, Eric, did you cry when he died? I didn't. The closest I got to crying when a celebrity died was Kevin Conroy. When I was making my video, I remember that was kind of hard to do, make the video with Kevin Conroy as I was doing it, listening to his performances when he was saying that this is it, this is the end. I remember that was just really emotional. You know, putting that footage in the review, putting the background music I put in the background. Yeah. Thing is, he died at the age of 76. So it's not like he was taken so early, like with some actors where you're like, wow, they already passed away. He did live a long life. Quite frankly, if, like, my parents, if they could live that long, you would of course want them to live longer, but if they were, like, died at that age, I would say they weren't taken from me so early, I would say. And these are things that I have thought about. Movie fan says, I know what you mean. I was close to crying when Robin Williams died. Yeah, that was the same with me. Robin Williams and Kevin Conroy were the two hardest ones. Were the two hardest ones for me to deal with in terms of celebrity deaths, celebrities who passed away. But yeah, he was a great actor, and he always seemed nice in interviews. Calden says 79, I thought. I'm pretty certain it was the what I said it was. Let's see. It says 76 years if you search it on Google. Spirit Hero says, I remember crying when Cameron Boyce died due to the shock. I grew up watching him on TV. He was only 20. Oh wow, that's surprising, that is. Yeah, I can imagine the surprise and the shock when you found out that he died at the age of 20. George Phillips, hardest one for me was Stan Lee, says Zilla Universe. George Phillips says, last time I was this sad from a celebrity's death was Jason David Frank, who was the greatest Power Ranger to ever live, and when I found out he committed suicide and I watched a tribute, I was so close. Brandon the Beldam says, I was heartbroken with Fred Ward's passing because of my adoration for 1990s Tremors. Yeah, me too. Especially because they filmed a pilot for a show that him and Kevin Bacon were going to do, and they both filmed that pilot, Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. In the end, the studio didn't decide to air it, and they didn't decide to go through with that show, which is a shame because they both could have been back as Earl and what Kevin Bacon's character was, who I forgot. Because I always call him Kevin Bacon. I haven't seen Tremors in a while. What was Kevin Bacon's character's name in Tremors? Big Bash says, I cried when Stan Lee died. And I also cried when the SpongeBob creator died. Jess says, I cried when Bob Saget died. World's best TV dad. Yeah, is a shame. I don't know if 76 is way too young. We've seen actors die way too young. I would say this was where you could say you lived a good life. A good long life. But of course, if it could go on longer, that would be even better. Movie fan says, honestly, I think the world will be in despair when James Earl Jones dies. We're kind of coming at that stage now, aren't we? Where we're all becoming older, where actors of our generation that we grew up watching are now starting to pass away. You know, the older actors of our generation, because now they're getting even older. May all these people enjoy where they are, says Big Bash. Okay, now we get to the Q&A session. So if there's any questions you guys want to ask, go ahead. If you join Patreon, I'll put your name right down here where it says new Patreon members if you join Patreon during this live stream. W Battle says, I cried when Heath Ledger died. Yeah, I remember when I woke up that morning, my sister told me that, guess what? The actor that plays Joker, the new actor, is dead. I was like, are you joking? And she goes, no, he actually is. Then I looked at my dad, because I was like, he wouldn't lie about this. And I said, is he dead? And my dad said, yeah, he actually is. My mind was like, I still don't believe it. That's such a random thing to happen, isn't it? I remember that day. Then when I found out it happened, I was like, whoa, he never got to see his performance. George Phillips says, have you bought Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy for Steam Deck? It's pretty solid. No, I played Uncharted 4 on my PS4 when it came out, and I did a 3-minute reviews on it, if you guys remember. It took me a week. I played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 just in time for the release of Uncharted 4. And that means 4 straight weeks of me playing and reviewing each Uncharted game. And it was the remastered Uncharted's for 1, 2, and 3 that I was playing on my PS4. That was so much fun. 60 frames per second for those games, 30 frames per second for Uncharted 4. It was truly special. Big Bash says Heath Ledger died when I was 2. Wow, so you were born in 2006. Or was it 2005? Ope says, are you going to bring back 3-minute reviews? I would like to, but I need the amount of work and effort that went into that. It would take a week to do a single episode. It would sometimes go a bit longer, but to write it, shoot it, get it all done within 3 minutes and everything, even though I would cheat sometimes, it took a week to do, especially because I used to record myself a lot and do some little fun sketches and filmmaking techniques and special effects. It took a lot out of me and a lot of work, and the returns in the end were not what I needed. If it wasn't for me cancelling 3-minute reviews, I never would have gotten to do my Versus videos and the videos I do now, like Let's Binge Watch and everything. So, you know, things don't work for a reason. But if I could become a bigger channel, then yeah, I could imagine I'll give 3-minute reviews another try and see what people think now, because I'll have a bigger audience than I did back then. A much bigger audience, and then I can see if it works. And if it works, I'll keep it going. If it doesn't, I wouldn't. Because it is all about, because like I said, reviewing games is not as easy as reviewing movies, where you've got all the footage at your disposal, and it's only about 2 hours. You got to play through the whole game, depending what it is, and then you got to skim through all your footage, and you got to find the right footage, and then you got to edit it. It takes a long time. Brandon the Beldum says, would you do a 3-way battle video for the Black Christmas films? I did consider it. Originally, I was actually thinking of doing it. It just never materialized in the end, because I had to do other videos too. Eric, Movie Fan 2002 says, Eric, did you hear what Netflix... Oh, that damn hot did. Did you hear what Netflix did Sokka and Aang's arcs for Book 1? I heard what they did to Sokka with him not being a sexist anymore because they thought that was iffy, which is just an insult to the show because it wasn't iffy. It was genius the way they did it. It was the growth of a character. But no, I don't know what they're doing to Aang. What have they done to Aang? What can you do to Aang? His story should be the most simple to adapt. At least for the first season. Straightforward. You shouldn't be able to change any of that. Big Bash says, I always am grateful for everything I have because you never know you die. Yeah, you never know. Tomorrow could be any one of our days. Rohan says there are some images of Squid Game Season 2. Yep, I've heard. Saeed235 says, are you going to watch the Deadpool trailer when it drops on Super Bowl? I will, and then I'll do a reaction on my Patreon for the trailer. Calden says, when you think your Spider-Man 2 video coming out? I still haven't worked on it. I need to get these next couple of videos out, and then I can start working on it. But it took a pause when I was already going through editing the voiceovers for it. It'll be sad when Christopher Lloyd dies. Yeah, it'll be sad when a lot of actors die. Jess says, I'm nervous for the trailer of Deadpool 3 when it comes out. Manola says, have you heard of the anime Inuyasha and Monster? If not, you should check them out, especially Monster if you like psychological thrillers. Interesting. Rowan says, are you going to see every trailer for Super Bowl? It depends how interesting they are. If we're anticipating them or not, personally. Give me a second. Do you want to know how good a nice brother I have? When I said I asked him to make me food, this is what he's made me. This is my younger brother, by the way. Let's see, can you guys see? This is a weird way of... But basically, yeah, it's 1 drumstick and 2 chicken legs. Because I said that I wasn't feeling good. So, let's see, is there a way I can... Bear with me a second. Okay, my brother got back from work, my other younger brother. Everyone got the memo that I had a live stream except for him, clearly. That looks good. Tell your brother he's the GOAT. Where is it? I'll make sure to take a picture of this and tell him. That looked good. Your brother has honor. You guys are funny. It's making me hungry. Yummy, damn it, Eric. You are making me hungry. That's funny, that is. I never thought I'd ever have to do this. Never. How many siblings? Your brother is a pro. Yeah, he really is. How much older are you than your siblings? Well, I'm only a year and a couple months older than the second sibling, and then the rest go a year, essentially a year below that. Now I'm hungry. The fries look so good. Well, the chips, but yeah, chips are thicker. This is such a funny reaction. This is such a funny reaction from all you guys. With regards to the food, I wonder if my brother will see that. Are you sure you didn't get the food from a restaurant? Nope. My dad went to the meat shop. My brother made me the food. Jess says, where is he? Let us see him. That is entirely up to him. He's not comfortable with being shown on camera. I once suggested to him that we can both show ourselves on camera and do a Let's Watch together of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, where we can both talk about it, because we both have problems with that movie. He got nervous. He didn't want to do it. So he's a bit camera shy. Or not everyone has to be into this kind of thing. I'm clearly comfortable doing this thing. I mean, look at me. I'm eating food in front of you guys. But my brother, not so much. Jess is like, give it to me, Eric. You know, if they invent the technology to do so, I would. If you go to some meat shops, I don't know in America where you guys are from if you can do it, but if you go to some meat shops where they got some pre-marinated chickens, you can do that, and that would work. Big Bash says, do your family feel comfortable on cameras? Or comfortable with being on camera? I don't know. They've never tried this kind of thing. So I don't really know, to be perfectly honest. Never asked, but I'm the only one that's really doing that. There's a lot of stuff I've done that I'm the only one that has done. Got a Mac as a computer, trying to do career on YouTube. Live streams in front of people. This is something that is a first in the family, and I'm the first one doing it. Where is my stream gone here? So I can see you guys. Oh boy, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. I can see myself aligning everything. I just want to see the viewer count. And when you have food here, I gotta use my left hand, which is bloody awkward to control. Oh, there it is. The link I'm looking for. There. 55 of you watching, so some more people have come in. Basically, I'm eating food. Let me see. Where's the camera? There it is. Damn it. When food starts getting stuck in your teeth. That just happened. Not good. Considering I'm on camera. Ethan's Drawings, have you done a donation? Maybe I didn't see it when I was showing off the food to you guys or something. I am sorry. You know what? I think I have to reorganize my desk here. Let me move my mouse here so I can control everything better and see everything. Let's see, where is your chats? One of you said that you've sent me something and I probably missed it. No, that's Yako. What did you send? Did you do a super chat or something? No, I don't see no super chat. Ethan's Drawings, did you get my donation yet? I actually haven't. Did you try Streamlabs? MovieFan 2002 has just got his super chat in. Where's my mouse? Damn it. I'm not a left-hander, but I'm going to have to try writing this down with my left hand. Huh. I'm not doing as bad as I thought. Okay, there you go. Now I'm doing just as bad as I thought. Blimey. $5. Which movie do you think is better? Shrek 2 or Puss in Boots 2? Shrek 2. I've seen that a million times and it's just nostalgic to me now. That's something that Puss in Boots 2 doesn't have. And that's why it's a bit unfair sometimes to compare older movies, because once they've settled in, they now become nostalgic movies, and that gives them an extra level over the other films. Excuse me. I don't want you to be seeing from the perspective what it's like when I'm eating. Big Bash says, do you do well in school, Eric? I imagine you get a ton of A's. I'm not in school anymore. That was a long time ago. But even then, I was homeschooled. Let me check Double Streamlabs again to see if your chat came in. Your donation. Still don't see it. Apple Vision Pro. People ask me what I think about the Apple Vision Pro. Spirit Hero says, I'm wearing a mouth expander and it is brutal when eating. I can imagine. Spirit Hero says, hey Eric, what is your favourite black and white movie? Oh yeah, 12 Angry Men. That's one of my favourite movies of all time. I saw that in preparation for waiting for Johnny Depp's jury verdict, because I've always heard about this movie, but I was like, okay, let's see what it's like in a jury room, and I watched that movie. So my parents to watch it too. Amazing film. Forget the 90s remake, that was crap. But the original, freaking amazing. It's a 10 out of 10 movie from me. I'd recommend you watch it. If you're not even into black and white movies, because you can't imagine watching a movie like that for long, this one's different. It is so freaking good. G-Gamer said, this is going to sound very weird, but have you watched Mr. Beast? Yeah, I've seen him do some videos, mainly because my family put him on. So, yeah. Have I seen The Italian Job? I've heard of it. Tried to watch it when I was a kid on TV, but there was a bunch of adverts, and I was like, this is not going to work out. So I went back to bed because it was 9. And if you, when you're young and you have bedtime, like specific bedtimes, it's like you're thinking, okay, let's see if I can get away with it. Turns out it's got adverts. I don't think I'll get away with it. All right, let's go. Turn the TV off and go back up. Never revisited the movie since. I've got others that I need to revisit. Saeed235 says, what Indian movies did you watch? Oh, tons of the Shah Rukh Khan ones from back in the day. Seen a lot of Amitabh Bachchan ones too, although I should see more of them. There's also... what was the other one? No, I've never been to America, Jess. What was the other one? It's where there's that one swindler guy and 3 ladies versus Ricky Ball. There's that, which I've seen some of, where he scams them, but I've not seen the rest of it. I need to see that. Jess says, hey Eric, can you do an American accent if you're good at it? Yaks, I'm Asian. That's all you're gonna get out of me. I swear I've done an American accent before, haven't I? Well, let's see. I'll answer the next question in an American accent. Although, funnily enough, a lot of people seem to think I have an American accent. Okay, I'll answer this next question in an American accent. MovieFan2002 says, Eric, what is a movie that you love that you don't understand why people hate? Because I have a lot of some good guilty pleasure movies, and I'm like, if I don't... No, that's not the thing. The thing is, if there's bad movies, I don't usually question why people hate them. Because I'll be like, I like it, but I can see why others wouldn't. But a movie that I like that others don't, and I don't get it. Alright, I'll tell you one. I think the 2004 Punisher movie is a great one. I love that movie. It's in my top 10 favorite list of superhero movies, the 2004 Punisher. And it's just so watchable. Like, it's so easy to sit through. If you just happen to walk into the room and the movie is at any point, for me, I just sit there and watch the rest of it. It is awesome. I really do think it's amazing. No, I was going to do the American accent thing. My voice and my vocals are just kind of exhausted. They're not in the mood, I think, to do an accent, so I'm sorry, buddy, but maybe next time, at the start of a stream, maybe. But still, I'm sure I've done this before. A stream. I mean, an accent like that, an American accent. On a live stream. I've got a £5. Damn it, I'm going to have to write with my left hand again. Got a £5 super chat from the Time Shadow. Hey Eric, not sure if you mentioned this earlier, but was there any update on my suggestion from last week? Just wondering, what was your suggestion? It's been a while. I get so many questions that it's hard to keep track of. Let's see if you can keep track of this, though. My brother really is so generous. How often do people get food like this during live streams? Do you ever see that often? Normally you see little snacks or something, or little bowls of something, but not stuff like this, restaurant stuff like you guys mentioned. What are your thoughts on The Holdovers? I've not seen it. I like The Phantom Menace too. It's not great, got problems, but certainly stuff to like in it. Big Bash says, Eric, do you watch debate videos? And how do you feel about them? I watch debate videos on certain topics, yeah. It depends what it is. It depends if the interviewer is being a bit of a prick. It depends if the person that is doing having the interview conducted is giving stuff, is commenting on things with good knowledge base and intelligently. It depends. It really depends. You can either have a dick of a host or you can have a dick of a guest, or you can have both, which are just dicks, in which case you just don't want to watch the whole thing. But it just depends on who the person is that's in the interview. The Time Shadow says, my suggestion was the Patreon commission thing. Yes, I have considered that. I haven't put it through yet because I'm busy, but yes. I was thinking of, you even said the $100 for a video, but it depends as well. You got to think how much time and effort and work goes into a Versus video versus going into a quick movie review or something. And quick movie reviews take me some time as well, because you got to watch the movie, then you got to do all this and stuff, and so there's a lot of editing that goes in it, so I think I would start at $100. I think you mentioned $100, and I think I would start there. And then the more sophisticated videos would go up from there. But this would be something most likely for just a very few select YouTubers who actually want to pay for that kind of thing. So this would be for that kind. And clearly you are that kind of person. You seem interested. Even last week you seemed interested too. So don't worry, I'll open up potentials for it, but it is because it's going to be charging for my time, commissioning stuff like that. The price will vary depending on what project or what video you want made. But yes, I am looking into it. Don't worry. Jess says, a good question, but you need to give me a bit more info there, buddy. Eric, do you prefer Miles Morales over Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Like, which Miles Morales? Do you just mean any Miles Morales in general? In which case, yeah, I do prefer him over Tom Holland. Big Bash says, Eric, what do you do in your spare time when not doing YouTube? In my spare time, I like to play in my Steam Deck. Alexa, shut up. I don't know why that turned on. Happens sometimes. I like to play in my Steam Deck. I like to just browse around the internet, watch videos on YouTube. I like to go out, get stuff to eat outside, just have a day out. Like to drive around. Like to watch movies on my projector and stuff. Movies that I want to watch where I feel like I don't have to work and write notes as I'm watching. Stuff like that. And sometimes hang out with friends, although I've not been really hanging out with friends much lately. Devin says, okay, well, I'm going now, so see ya, Eric. Love you, dude. Love you to right back, so thank you for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. And Master Combatant, who's done a $5 super chat. You've been killing it with the super chats today. Do you prefer episodic shows or serialized shows? I prefer episodic if it isn't too much filler. I prefer episodic. Serialized can be fun though too. It just depends. But I always like when there's an overarching arc with everything. Like Batman Beyond, that show, the first season had like an actual arc and like a continued story in there. But then after that, they just became serialized, like just standalone episodes, which I thought was a big shame for it. Drake Holly says, I'm going to head out now. Bye, everyone. It was great to have you here. Thanks very much for coming. I really appreciate it. This stream is going to end most likely in about a half hour. Spirit Hero says, Eric, do you take movie recommendations? Yeah, I take recommendations. Doesn't mean I'll do it. It depends, of course. But yeah, I take recommendations, of course. Thunderlord says, if you have 10,000 patrons, does that mean you get 10,000 every month? 10k every month. No, it doesn't quite mean that, because Patreon take their fee. Then if you have it sent to whatever the money goes to, whether it's PayPal or any other thing, they'll take their fee. So no, you wouldn't get it straight out like that, but you would get a good sum at the end though. So yeah. And my patrons have been growing, which is very good. So, like I said, once we get to 100 patrons, and I mean paying patrons, not just members who just follow your Patreon but are not allowed to watch anything from it. 100 paying patron members, I will do the 3-way How to Train Dragon Versus video. That is a promise. Once we get there. Big Bash says, what is the most hours you played on a game? Probably Batman Arkham City. I've spent hundreds of hours on that. Mainly because I love the challenge maps. Do you know, just to show how extra thoughtful my brother is, who made me this food, he also brought up this jug of water with a cup. Even though I had my bottle there, because he knew my hands would get dirty, so I couldn't use my dirty hands on that bottle of mine. Saeed235 says, do you receive very hateful comments from people on YouTube? Yes, every YouTuber does, and that's okay. You know, you have to have thick skin for that stuff. The only stuff that I would say hurts more is if any of you guys were to give me any bad comments. But you guys have always been an absolute pleasure. Why do you think I'm always doing these live streams every week for you guys? It's like, I'm having less time to respond to you in the comments like I used to, and I don't want to lose that. So hence the live stream, so I get to keep in touch with you guys this way. So it's like if I don't respond as much in the comments, you guys know that I'm just busy, you know. So but then you'll know at the end of the week it doesn't matter, because I'll be able to speak to you guys like this through a live stream. I always do like 2.5 to 3 hour long streams with you guys, so that's plenty of time. Hopefully, whichever time zone you're in, to at least get some questions in here with me. And as always, it's hard to keep up with all of them, so that's why the super chats are there. Not only to support me, but also to make sure that you guys, you know, can get your answer, your question answered. And yes, Big Bash, I have the best brother. Saeed, yes, I am the oldest sibling. Essery Pitik, I'm so sorry, I can't say that. Asa Iptik, how do you feel about the new Megamind trailer? I haven't seen it, but I will be covering it on my Patreon. Rohan says, to be honest, Eric, I am your biggest fan. Oh, thanks, Rohan. You probably want to get in line, though. Yeah, Batman's Game War still live. Very underrated YouTuber. Thanks very much, Sandman. But never takes them seriously and treats the review like a comedy, says Jess. Yeah, but that depends what your style is, if you want to be humorous. Or you're a fan of football. Playing it, yes. Watching it, not really. Brandon says, I saw your video on new Suicide Squad game ruin Batman. Why do you think Rocksteady didn't give Batman a hero's death in Suicide Squad? I actually covered this in like the whole beginning of my stream. Like, I spent so much time talking about it. From the 50-minute point in, like 50 minutes into the stream onwards, I talked about the Suicide Squad and everything, and I gave my reason as to why. A long-winded reason. Well, not long-winded, but a detailed reason as to why. So I would strongly recommend and suggest that you watch that if you want to know, because you'll get your answer that way. But, yeah, it's clearly... It's a woke reason, and I've already said what my definition of woke is in that segment of the video. So if you want to know what I mean, I'm not just saying it like other people do. In what my definition of the word means, that's what I think it is. So it is a woke situation. Spirit says, I gotta go as I'm cooking right now. Take care, Eric. Thank you for joining the stream again. You take care too, buddy. Saeed says, what are your wishes on Deadpool 3? That the MCU and Disney stay out of it. Leave it to Ryan Reynolds. Leave it to Hugh Jackman and the director. And let them make a great movie. No bullshit MCU isms. I don't want no MCU qualities in this whatsoever. Better be a great movie that harkens back to the tone of, say, the Fox films. I don't want no bloody MCU-isms in here. Saeed says the word woke has become so popular. Yeah, it has. It's been overused, and it's been used in the wrong context. That's why I had to make clear my standing, what I mean when I say the word woke. Big Bash said, if Deadpool 3 sucks, I'll actually be mad. If Deadpool 3 sucks, Marvel are done. So they better not screw that up. Part of me thinks they already are, because they just recently finished filming it. And it's still supposed to come out in July, which seems rushed. Will the movie even look good with its effects in that time? George Phillips says, what do you think will happen to DC if Superman Legacy fails? Well, they can try to continue, but I think they will not be in good standing, so I don't know exactly what will happen. Basically, Superman Legacy cannot fail. So much is riding on it. But if the characters succeed, they might have a chance to continue. Because you can have a movie that's not too great, but the movie after could do a... If they like the characters, they'll stick with it. Because look at Iron Man 2. Look at some of the MCU movies. How many of them were just bad in the early stages? Or nothing special. Not noteworthy. People ended up watching them or sticking with them. So it just depends. I don't know if when I'm eating you hear that so clearly, because I'm getting closer to the mic, I just realised. Master Combatant, I don't know what to say. You are crazy, my friend. Crazy generous. And just crazy. Let me write this down. $5. It's $5 super chat. That's his 10th super chat on this live stream. Well, it says on a live stream. Master Combatant says, I know this will never happen, but I hope Suicide Squad game gets retconned and the Wonder Woman game gets tied to Arkham somehow. You don't want that. The first thing you do want, yes, you want it to be retconned, but I just hope it just gets removed altogether from the... just completely nix it. Just say this... just say this game does not apply. Just say it doesn't take place in the lore anymore. Like, you've just wiped it out. You've taken it out of the canon. Do that. The Wonder Woman game is rumored that it's going to have a lot of live service stuff going on in it. So, no, you don't want that being tied to the Arkhamverse. The only way it can be tied to the Arkhamverse is if 100 Star Games, the people that originally made, you know, the original people at Rocksteady that have moved on to that studio, the only way I would want any other Rocksteady game or TC game is through their studio. It's through collaboration with them. Otherwise, I do not care. Oh, that chili just went to my throat a little there. Oh, hi, Kincaid. You're just showing up. Oh, man, you missed so much stuff on this live stream. For example... Jake came back. So you can imagine what that means. My brother also gave me food upstairs. I showed the plate to you guys, and that's got a bit of a reaction. I felt a bit woozy and like I was going to pass out a little during the live stream. Because I hadn't eaten all day. You're underrated. Thanks, Keldon. Appreciate that. When do you feel the world started to become crazy, says Big Bash. The world has always been crazy. It just keeps getting crazier. That's good, King K. There's a lot of stuff that I've covered in this stream, so I don't have to repeat all of it again. Let's see here. Mind if I asked you what are your top 5 favourite movies of all time, says Trevor Bristow. I don't know what my top 5 favourites of all time are. There's too many. But I do know my top 2. One is The Dark Knight. The second is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And somewhere in the top 5, I think we'd have Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So yeah. I don't know my full top 5 though. Rohan says, I like how the video you made and the way you acted. It was pretty good. Which video? Are you talking about this one? The live stream? King K's, I like the Justice League video you made. Yeah, I made 2 Justice League videos. Yeah. If the Aya cut was released of Suicide Squad, I would have made, eventually, after the Suicide Squad versus theatrical versus Aya cut, I would have done the Suicide Squad, the Aya cut versus the Snyder cut. I would have done. So it's a shame they didn't release that movie in the end. Hope they still do, but I don't think they will. Get Out was a good movie, but I need to see it the second time because people say on second viewing there's a lot of smart references that you will catch that you missed the first time. Still haven't done it. I need to see it again. If Deadpool 3 becomes another joke fest like Thor 4, then I'm done and move on to DC. I'll agree with you, Jess, but also keep in mind that Deadpool is already a jokey character, so don't get it conflated that the jokes that they're doing with Deadpool are just MCU jokes. You gotta make sure that they're Fox jokes, not MCU jokes, because they do need jokes. Obviously, because Deadpool. The Time Shadow, how do you feel about the fact that Disney are doing a live-action Moana? I haven't even seen the animated movie yet, but it does show that they've run out of Disney classics to start adapting, so now they're thinking, what the heck? Movies from 5-7 years ago, they count as classics, right? Oh, Big Vash says, remember Lights Out? How do you feel about that movie now? I love Lights Out. It's still a great movie. But David Sandberg's first film, where he was so afraid that he could potentially get fired from that film, or that it could just implode at any minute, he did a damn good job, all things considered. Jacinda, I agree, it is Jordan Peele's best movie. His others started to get too weird. I thought Us was good for the first half, but then the second half just got silly. And it felt like it made no sense. Like, how are we, the audience, supposed to piece this together? I felt like Jordan Peele knew what it meant, but no one else watching did. The Time Shadow says, oh dude, you're missing out. Moana is awesome. I'm sure it is. I need to see it. Because I remember watching Coco. That was the last Pixar movie I thought. Was that Pixar or Disney? I can't remember. I just watched it because I heard good things about it, didn't know what to expect, and I was near tears towards the end. I was like, what the hell? How is... that's great Disney, that is, that can evoke that reaction from you, but they just don't do that now. I mean, even Wish got completely ignored from the Oscars, which was their big celebratory 100-year Disney movie. Saeed says, if they MCUify Deadpool 3, would you rip to shreds in the review? Yes, I damn well will. And I'll talk about how they are a lost cause and how they suck and everything. If Deadpool 3 sucks, expect me and a lot of other people, but especially me, to really come down hard on that film if it feels like Disney and Marvel took control away from Ryan Reynolds. Believe me, I'd get pissed. I feel like Deadpool 3 is kind of the last chance that Marvel will get. They've got many last chances. This will be the true last chance. If they screw this up, it's done. The MCU is officially over. They might as well just give up. George Phillips says, have you played Tekken 8? If you haven't, there's a free demo on Steam. I played it on my Steam Deck. It's pretty good. I saw one person show the demo and said that it didn't run very well. It ran a bit slow. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have a look, but it's good that it runs good, that you're enjoying it and everything. But yeah, I've not kept up to date with the Tekken games for a long time, even though I do still enjoy them. But when I want to play Tekken, I'll play either Dark Resurrection on my PSP, or I'll play Tekken 3 for PS1 emulated. But there was also Tekken 5, I think, which was on the PS2. On the PS2, that was good. I emulated that on my Steam Deck. That was a lot of fun. This is so weird, guys. I've never eaten on a stream before, live, for everyone to see. Normally I just don't do that. But today I was like, I need something, otherwise I'm probably going to pass out on stream. Which is far more embarrassing. I am on TikTok. At the end of each of my videos, I always have my TikTok banner shown at the bottom right. So I haven't done anything with it particularly yet. I've uploaded a couple things, but I do intend to do more at some point, but not right now. But follow me on there, so when I do, you'll be up to date. You'll be the first to know. King K says, I'm not a DC fan, but even I know Batman is beloved and he deserves better. Yeah, that's one of the comments that I edited in the video, where a woman says that she's not played the Arkham games, but even she knows how big they are, so why would they do this? But I blurred that in, or faded that into the shot. So yeah. Guys, we've got 8 minutes left on the stream. Once it hits 3 hours, I'm done. We're gonna have to... I'm gonna go finish my food. I'm gonna probably go make something else a little, because I always make rice, which I still have to do, because otherwise that chicken will go off. My brother wants some rice, so I'll do that with him. And oh, look at that, the Movie King 3000 has shown up. Let's see. I still believe that they are still going to kill Karen and Foggy off, because Charlie Cox was seen kissing the reported new love interest. So I assume they're going to die at the hands of Muse. Or even Kingpin. I think they're going to do that too. I think they're going to kill off Karen and Foggy and be like, well, see, we showed them at least. We didn't kill them off screen like we were going to originally. I still think they're trying to make that bloody show reborn for the MCU. They're going to still try to kick out a lot of what made the Netflix shows. Also, the shots I've seen behind the scenes, Kingpin looks very skinny. So, let's see what they do. I still haven't seen that Once Upon a Studio time shadow. I still haven't seen that. I wanted to, but I haven't got around to it. So yeah, I don't know if that would be a good idea, but I heard a lot of people liked it, so yeah, probably that would have been a better idea than doing Wish. Yeah, he did. I can't tell if James Gunn said that as a joke, like he can't work with the MCU again contractually, or if he actually meant it. Like they actually got something in his contract where he cannot go back to work for Marvel, which would be funny if that is in his contract. Besides Guardians 3, are there any other post-Endgame movies that you like? I had fun with Doctor Strange 2, even though I acknowledge that it was not well done given what it was supposed to be continuing from, which was WandaVision. But, no, I can't really think of anything, to be honest. I'm not too impressed. I liked a couple of their shows, but that's it. Yux1434 says, just watch your Indiana Jones versus video. Indy 4 gets lots of hate. Did you watch the same video that I made? I gave Indiana Jones 4 a lot more praise. Indiana Jones 5, I gave the grunt of the hate because I didn't like that movie. Unless you're saying in general Indy 4 gets lots of hate, but not from me. It gets hate, of course, because it's not a great movie, but it gets more praise than the 5th movie. How would I feel if Deadpool 3, they killed a character and replaced him with a female version? I wouldn't be happy, but I don't think Ryan Reynolds would allow that to happen, and I don't think Marvel want that to happen either, because they want to keep Ryan Reynolds on. He's a big name. If they do want to do that, then they are even dumber than I thought they were. You love Indy 4, Yax. Well, that's good then. Because I was kinder to it in the review, at least I thought I was. I got a soft spot for Indy 4. I even said I had a soft spot for it. Have you ever been to Canada, says Calden? No, I haven't. How do you feel about Injustice and Injustice 2 now, says Big Bash? I like them both. I like the first one better, though. I don't know, the second game just felt a bit like doesn't feel as new anymore. And it was centered around Supergirl a lot, which to me wasn't as fun and interesting. So yeah. The Movie King 3000 says, do you think that Marvel should have stayed at Paramount or should stay at Disney? stayed at Paramount or should stay at Disney? Neither, to be honest. I don't know. At this point, a lot of studios, you just can't really trust them. They keep putting a lot of the same incompetent people in charge. I would just say just stop it. Just stop all of it. Or just go back to making the odd movie that people want to see, like X-Men, Fantastic Four and stuff, but stop doing all this pointless extra characters where they're just forcing a movie for the sake of having a movie. You don't need any of that. King K says, please watch Loki. You don't even have to make a review, just talk about it on live stream. I had a video idea yesterday, and I was thinking, if I actually do that video idea, then I will have to watch Loki, and then I will have to talk about it in that video. But it won't be a binge watch video or a versus video, it'll be another topical video, kind of like what I did with this Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League video. It'll be topical, talking about the state of the MCU shows in general, and how they retroactively connected. Because when they were coming out, people were making connection theories left and right. But then when the movies finally came out, and it turns out none of their theories held any water, they just stayed very remarkably quiet. But I'm going to try... what I plan to do is to open those theories up again and say, no, this is what you thought was going to happen, then it didn't happen, and now you stay quiet about it and think, well, let's see what Marvel do next. It's like, no, that was their opportunity to impress, but they didn't. So we'll see. I might talk about Loki yet, but we'll have to see. These videos take a long time to edit, and you gotta prioritize. The Time Shadow. Have you ever watched ABC's Once Upon a Time? I haven't, but my parents have. I remember my mum was binging it. I've not seen it, but I've seen little clips, like the Snow White clip, which looks far better than what Disney did. And, yeah, it looks pretty interesting and fascinating. It's just not something I want to get into. I've still got other shows I need to catch up on. I don't want to have another one. But they liked it from what I heard. Big Bass says, how do you feel about theory videos? It depends on what the theory is, but they usually can be interesting, I think. Saeed says, I lost interest of the MCU after She-Hulk. Yeah, a lot of people lost interest after She-Hulk, after Thor Love and Thunder, after Multiverse of Madness. You can pick your movie. A lot of people lost interest after certain of those. Those were the worst times for Marvel to fail, and they did. They lost people at that point. Jess says, Eric, read my comment on Amazing Spider-Man 2. There are 3 of them. Where are they? I don't want to have to track down 3 comments. You know what? You might have to post them again. Eric, would it be interesting for you to see the cinematic universe of Andrew Spider-Man franchise of Tom Holland version? Nah, I thought it was gonna suck. Andrew Garfield's franchise. If you read the rumors of what Sony wanted to do with the movies going forward, it sounded so stupid. So it's a good thing it didn't happen. The 97 reboot of X-Men, the cartoon, I've heard that show has been going through a lot of issues behind the scenes. And rumors are, I put it on my Instagram, the rumors are it's going to come out in mid-March, mid-April, something like that, this year. I think it's going to be a flop, to be honest with you. I think there's going to be a bunch of problems and people are not going to be happy, personally. I don't know why, but seeing how long it's taken to get any news on this show after its initial announcement does not give me confidence for it, I've got to say. Okay, guys, my favourite Spider-Man game so far, W Battles. In the UK, Big Bash, it's 9:33 PM. W Battles, my favourite Spider-Man game so far of all time, probably Spider-Man Web of Shadows for the DS. Or Spider-Man PS4, the first... No? Let me think. Web of Shadows for the DS was a really good game, and I also loved Ultimate Spider-Man as well. So, yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man, for the DS, or Web of Shadows for the DS. The Nintendo DS had some great Spider-Man games. Though, and Spider-Man 3 for the DS was also great. I like Spider-Man and the rest of the games too, but I have a soft spot for those. So I'll just go ahead and say it's a toss-up between Ultimate Spider-Man and Web of Shadows, but I'll go with Web of Shadows. Yeah, I love that game. Alright guys, we're 3 hours, 1 minute, approaching 3 hours, 2 minutes. It's time to end this live stream. If any of you guys are watching this live stream, I'm going to ask a favor. If any of you are watching this live stream, if you could leave like timestamps in the comments as you're watching the whole thing over, that would be so helpful. A lot of other people tend to do that on other long form videos, and if you guys could do that, that would be amazing, because I know there's some of you guys tell me this, that you watch the whole video through, this whole stream through. So if you do that, I'd really appreciate that. That would make things easier for me as I get to editing other videos, because it is tricky sometimes to go through a whole 3-hour stream. So thanks very much everyone for the stream. Thank you very much for the donations. You were so incredibly generous here. You've really helped me in terms of just making a living out of a YouTube channel like this. And it's an absolute pleasure talking to all of you every single time I do these live streams. So thank you very, very much. This hand's dirty, so I can't wave to you that way. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care.